For the first time since the resumption of the National Rugby League on Thursday, the 28th of May, we've got no live sport on a Friday night. So thank heavens for the Sim World, ladies and gentlemen, as we say good evening, everybody. Welcome to SimShed Broadcasting and the Friday night triple treat for the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Tonight, it's a double header at the Belle Isle Circuit in Detroit, in Michigan. And then, of course, it's also one leg of that triple in Canada as we head to Mo Sport for the first time in a long time and looking forward to it all immensely. Zach Caven with you, joined by a plethora of stars from the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club and looking forward to introducing them in just a moment. Let me run through everything that's happening tonight, of course. The production car race is the second outing for TCRs in this 10-week campaign. This is round 6 for them, of course. Their first trip to a street circuit. Looking forward to seeing how they fare on the streets of Michigan in just a moment. We're at the famous Belle Isle Detroit Grand Prix circuit, home, of course, to an IndyCar doubleheader every year. And then, of course, we're heading to Mo Sport for Stockcar. So just for those of you that are joining us for the first time, last week we mentioned that mentioned that there would be a member vote for the Stockcar round. We mentioned on Wednesday night that Nick had narrowed down the choices. Finally, we come to the conclusion that it would be Mo Sport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. So looking forward to getting stuck into that very shortly. And then, of course, on the back end of Mo Sport, back to Belle Isle, back to the Stone Cold Supercar Racing Series. So the Sim World comes to the rescue on a night where there's no other live sport from the real world. Of course, Formula One, it's a 2-day program there for the what is supposed to be the San Marino Grand Prix, but they've decided to label the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for some reason. Don't get me started on that. Let's get into the commentary. Let's get into the broadcast. Let's get into introducing a plethora of guests that are going to join me for this production car race over the course of 30 minutes. You'll have onboards and insights from a lot of the drivers in this race. Virtually half the field. Adam Lavis is here. Dylan Gray is here. Kester Waters is here. Trent Lavis is here. So too is Paul Nichols. And calling the action with me, as per usual, is Nico Pop. Good evening to you, Nick. Detroit, let's get ready for some fireworks, some action, and potentially some bent cars.
100%. One of two temporary street courses, I guess you could call Montreal one as well, but one of two temporary street courses in the iRacing service that have the walls right against the track. Get the repair bill, get the checkbook out for the repair bills because there's going to be plenty of it.
Paul Nichols, this is fraught with danger, the fact that we're going production car racing on this circuit, especially when you look at the top end of the town. You got Brenton Hobson on pole, you got Mikey Hammond on third, and you're sandwiched in the middle of the pack down there in dangerous territory, 9th and 10th.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about survival, this track, definitely. The walls are so close. I think it's probably one of the toughest tracks on iRacing. I mean, Bathurst is tough. This track is tougher, I reckon. It's you make one mistake, you brake too late, you hit a wall. I think there might be a safety car tonight, Zach. I would not be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised at all. Chris Kisby is in race control for us, so if needs be, it'll be thrown. And, of course, there will be a competition caution thrown in the stock car race. Don't worry about that. And, of course, the supercars, well, we'll wait and see what comes up. I believe we're doing the development split for the supercars tonight, so looking forward to that. Here's the grid for you. We'll get to the points in just a moment. Grid, Brenton Hobson, Grant Gill, front row. Impressive performance from Grant Gill. Mikey Hammond and Shane with the second row. Third row, Simon Ferris and Brad Clank on the inside rather. Fourth row, Julian Mucky and Jonathan Turner. Fifth row, Paul Nichols and Josh Thomas. Sixth row, Lee Williamson and Dylan Gray, who's also one of our in-race reporters tonight. Seventh row, Frank Hodak and Jaden Russell. Eighth row, Jared Daly and another one of our in-race reporters in Trent Lavis. Ninth row, Kester Ward and Adam Lavis. They're both in comms with us tonight. 10th row, Paul Jensen and Daniel Aish. No time set from either of those men. Championship points with countbacks in consideration. Brenton Hobson, 157, leads Simon Ferris, 93, and Michael Hammond, 91, 87 for Jonathan Turner, 76 for Simon Ferris. Francis, I should say. My apologies. Grant Gill, 68, 63 for Ben Collard, 61 for Tony De Rossi, 47 apiece for Jaden Russell and Josh Thomas, making up the top 10. Getting set for a start here. We'll get to our plethora of in-race reporters in just a moment. Hope you'll enjoy the broadcast tonight on SimShed Broadcasting. We're here with thanks to the great people at Central Coast Subaru and LJ Hooker Gaindar. Of course, replays come courtesy of Stone Cold Racing. Our other sponsors include Oculair, Flash Graphics, Simple Sim Computers, And there is one more, and it's just escaped me at the moment.
Well, Bunbury Hotel.
Thank you. Actually, that's a new one. That's a new one, Nico.
So Bunbury's looking after the up-and-comers, so they're a sponsor of up-and-comers. So thanks to the people at Bunbury Hotel. Well done.
Beautiful. Getting set for a start. Oh, yes, of course. Adam St. John. Good to have him back on board. Getting set for a start. Friday Night Motorsport, the Triple Treat. We're underway at the Belle Isle Circuit in Michigan. Clean start. 3 wide back in the pack. That's always fraught with danger this early. But we've somehow got through the first 3 corners cleanly as they make their way through turn 2 and on their way down to turn 3 for the first time. We're riding on board with Brad Clank in 5th position. Pulled it up. That was brave. Brenton Hobson leads. Gill second, Hammond third, and Clank fighting his way through mid-pack. Clean start from Brenton Hobson. We'll get Nick to take you for an onboard lap here very shortly. Once things settle down after a couple of laps, we'll check in with Kester and Trent and Dylan Gray, and also, of course, Adam Lavis. But right now, Brenton Hobson out in front, and we've got trouble at the back with Frank Hodak, and unfortunately Kester Ward's caught up in that as well. So we'll have a look at this for you on replay here. On the run to the next corner. And unfortunately, with Hodak going into the wall and bouncing back out onto the racetrack, Kester just had nowhere to go.
It's going to be a theme of the night.
And that's one of the unfortunate things about this circuit, I guess, Kester, when you look at the Belle Isle circuit, when cars bounce off walls, they bounce straight back onto the racing line.
Oh, that wasn't that. He moved over and got my front, but I'm not risking getting a penalty for it. So that's, just back off and wait. Unfortunately, it took 3 years to turn around.
Michael Hammond up on the outside of Grant Gill to go to second. Very nice move from Michael Hammond there to go into second spot in the early stages, but Brenton Hobson has bolted. 2.6 seconds over the pack on lap 1. Hammond's got the chasing pack behind him at the moment. Have a look at him. Freight train, line astern on the way down to turn 3. Gill and Witt side by side. Witt goes wide. That's going to allow Julia Mucky a chance to get up on the outside, and does. But couldn't get the job done on the run through. Fantastic start from all concerned here. 19 ended up taking the start. Paul Jansen was the 19th there. Frank Hodak hasn't come around past the line yet, nor has Paul Jansen. Info with this circuit, 14 turns, 3.78 kilometres. 40% fuel tank capacity. Again, that'll be touch and go as to whether we need a quick splash and dash or not. Sim time is 10:45 in the morning. That's Detroit, Michigan time. 24 degrees on track, 22 in the air. Winds to the east at 14 k's an hour. Pit lane speed, should we need it, 64 k's an hour. Pace car speed, should we need that, 72 k's an hour. Fast repair limit of 1. Penalties kick in at 15x and then every 5x after that. Nick, your thoughts on what you've seen thus far?
Well, I thought there'd be more carnage, so good on him. So,
sideways from Mikey Hammond, right on cue.
He's looking more out the side window than the front. But to no one's surprise, Brenton Hobson, what's he got now? 4.7 second lead. So I was just in a server with Michael Hammond before, and he does not like this particular style of car. He does not like driving bum drag, as I like to call it.
How does he feel about the circuit, Nick? Did you have a chance to ask him about that?
No, I didn't, but I mean, it's quite a favourite amongst a lot of the drivers. It's just, what car and combination you use with it. As we see some fighting here, 3 wide into the turn 3. Use plenty of curb.
Exactly right. Brad Clank, Simon Ferris, Simon Francis, Shane Witt, all involved in this. Should point out as well, Dylan Gray is down the pack in all of that as well. We'll get to these guys in just a moment. Julia Mucky in 6th place at the moment. Oh, no, trouble. Brad Clank. Massive carnage. And I was about to say, Nick, Brad Clank could be used to these cars given his exploits on a Wednesday night, but it's not going to help him this time round.
What happens? Oh, you just hit the inside wall, which puts you into the tyres on the outside wall, which bounces you back in front of people on the track, and yeah. Oh, man.
Ferris, Clank, and then the one behind as well, all caught up in that. 4 cars involved. Clank the only one left behind. Oh, wow. All right. Julian Markey sits in 5th position now in all of that. He's been the beneficiary of Clank's misfortune. Very good evening to those of you that are just joining us. I mentioned all of the great people that support the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. I reneged to mention Racecraft. They're the ones that I reneged to mention at the top of the program. So big thanks to Racecraft, of course. They're our naming rights sponsor for the Porsches on a Wednesday night. Stone Cold Racing, of course, the naming rights sponsor for the supercars at the end of the night tonight, part of the triple treat. We're riding on board with Ferris now. He's got Nichols, Turner and Lavis right behind him. Last time I spoke to Paul Nichols as an in-race reporter, he got passed by Joe Baldwin, so I won't disturb him for the moment. Here he is down on the inside and very nicely done. As Ferris continues to... Oh, no, 3 wide through that corner. That was never going to work. Trent Lavis opted... caution for the better part of Valor there and opted out of that, and now gets the job done on Ferris around the outside. So Paul Nichols sits there in 6th. Ferris has dropped down to 9th with a really crunched up front end, and Trent Lavis jumps up into 8th. Let's go to Trent Lavis right now. It's just a matter of trying to keep your nose clean, I guess, mates, and that can be easier said than done around here.
Yeah, mate, seems to be a bit of the parting sea for me at the moment.
Yes, exactly right. Here you go, down on the inside. Jonathan Turner couldn't get the job done, just a little bit too far back. What's the secret to passing around here, mate? Because there are limited overtaking opportunities like most street circuits.
I'm actually working it out as I go because I literally just bought the track about 10 minutes ago.
Standard Trent Lavis procedure, I like it. I like it.
Now it's a great circuit.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite well. This is my 7th lap in this car, so loving it.
Turn 3 is the best spot.
And Brenton Hobson's only started lap 5 of the race, so that gives you an indication as to how many laps Trent Lavis got in before the race got underway, folks. 30 minutes the distance here, of course. Fastest lap of the race sits around the 1:38.9 for Trent Lavis. Sorry, for Brenton Hobson, I should say. Trent, to his credit, only just got the car, only just got the circuit. Not showing with the fastest lap time on my timing sheet as yet, so we'll have to have a look at that in due course.
41.1's my optimum, so not really too crash hot for my standard, but it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. And
Yeah,
you're not too far away from Nico and Jonathan Turner. Oh, Turner's wide. That's going to allow Trent up the inside, and now Paul Nichols is the next target.
Oh, I've been
Paul
disqualified.
Oh, no.
I got
Trent
a jump
Lavis
start
is
because I
gone.
didn't realise the cars didn't have a clutch, so I crept forward on the start, and I
Wow.
didn't serve my black flag, so I thought I'd serve it at the end, but that's all good. I'll
Okay.
go get ready for stockies.
That's it, exactly. And, of course, that's Mosport, mate, which is a circuit that we've all enjoyed in the past.
Yeah, I don't think I've even driven on that before. I'll have to do a lap and see what it's like.
Do a lap, have a break.
Exactly. All right, mate, we'll let you go and focus on that. Come back and check in with us a little bit later on. We've got a car around there where Brenton Hobson's just gone through. We're riding on board with Brenton now. We'll get to him in just a moment. Let me go back to... I was going to go back to Paul Nichols. So Trent Lavis has been booted from the server. That obviously serves you well because that's one less bloke gunning for you and hunting you down, mate. But how much driving when you're in traffic like that is done with your eyes forward, but also your eyes in the mirror?
Well, I'm learning eyes forward, as Nick says to me, eyes forward. So, yeah, I'm learning. And don't commentate and drive.
Correct. All right. We'll we'll come back to him in just a moment. Dylan Gray, I haven't checked in with you yet. You're sitting, according to my timesheets, here 6th at the moment. So the next target is Paul Nichols. How are you finding the night so far?
Pretty difficult to try and not get caught up with any of the cars facing the wrong way.
Yep.
You do a good job, mate.
And no, yeah, exactly. No doubt difficult trying to
trying to
talk
hunt
and
down
speak
the
at the same
teammate
time,
now.
as I say.
Did you like the livery, Zach? We've all got the same livery on tonight. It's 4 of us
No,
in
it
the
is
same
looking
car.
good.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's that dark red with the fluoro green. I like it. Very nice touch. So if you're seeing a recurring theme throughout the paddock, folks, the boys have been in cahoots and they said, let's run the same livery. 4 of them running the same livery tonight. All right. Do I dare brave it and say I think we've settled down enough? As Dylan Gray gets passed there by Adam Lavis, actually. So that's a good point in time to introduce Adam Lavis and say good evening to the Wednesday night director. How are you finding the night so far, mate? Obviously, you're facing the same challenge as the rest of us. You've got me in your ear and you're trying to master a street circuit at the same time.
Yeah, this is the first time I've driven this thing, so I'm still getting used to the rear brakes wanting to lock all the time, but Dylan just ran wide there a little bit, so that helped me out. Now I've got to try and see if I can catch Paul.
Indeed. All right. At this point in time, let's ride on board with Brenton Hobson if we can, Director. And because this is an opportune moment, considering things have somewhat slowed down and settled into a rhythm, to jump on board with the race leader, who's out and clear and comfortable by 7.5 seconds, and go for a ride and get Nico Pop to talk us through this magnificent Detroit circuit.
All right, we're coming to the end of the back straight, just tipping in at 200 kilometres an hour from 5th gear down to 3rd. Across the curbing here. It used to be a faster entry into the corner, but they put the curb out there. 2nd gear, past the wall that Nigel Mansell hit on his debut here. Up through 3rd and 4th, hovering mid-throttle through here, and then back to 2nd for this tight hairpin turn back onto the second part of the backstretch, which leads you into the last 2 corners. Work your way through the gears. Now these next 2 corners are very fast, but there's no runoff. There's a tyre barrier, then there's a wall. So through there in 4th gear, through this part in 4th gear, hit right up against the wall that Montoya hit in qualifying on the spectacular lap. It's still a lap record around here. Work your way through the gears, cross the start-finish line, tip it in at 200 kilometres an hour, back a gear, part 1 of this corner, and then the S's back against itself, leading onto the main straight. Avoid the wall that Cristiano D'Amato destroyed a Champ car into millions of pieces. Work your way up to 6th gear, up to turn 3 here. 6th gear, come on, these things must be so asthmatic. Nope, 5th gear. Up to turn 3. turn 3 in 3rd gear. Now you got what is very similar to the staircase at Adelaide. So you got the right-hander, it's a little bit quicker at 4th gear. I use this 3rd gear, nope, yep, 3rd gear for Hobson on the left-hander, and then 3rd gear onto the back stretch. And then work your way back through the gearbox. 5th gear, I think, 200 kilometres an hour before you get to the end of the straight, and there's 1 lap.
Magnificent.
Steeped in history, one of the longest serving American street circuits for a long time. And as you probably heard in my commentary there, lots of little events that have happened around here that have been quite memorable.
Not least, of course, the pace car. That was my favourite. Crashing out there on the formation laps.
General Motors giving it a little bit too much over that hump in turn 2 there. So, how embarrassment. But yes, you got to watch the hump in that. But a rear drive car, yes. Front wheel drive car, I think they'll just plough straight across it. But once again, you got to watch that wall on the exit of turn 3, and we're coming up to it soon with Brenton Hobson here. The wall used to jut out, and that's what caught Cristiano D'Amato. If you look on YouTube, there are plenty of videos of it. That car just disintegrates. So this turn here, turn 1 is pretty easy. Turn 2 is pretty easy, but there's a hump right about there, and then it drops away across that little bridge and then back down the back stretch.
So Hobson leads 1:38.61, his fastest lap of the race. So you were riding with him for much of his fastest lap of the race, folks. How good's that? Have a look at Josh Thomas here at the moment, putting the pressure all on Dylan Gray right now. And Adam Lavis just ahead of them. Paul Nichols sitting in the top 5 at the moment. Let's not put the mocker on him. So sitting down the order, let's have a look at the story here. Trent Lavis out of the race, of course, excuse me. Retired. Disqualified rather. Lee Williamson is manually disconnected. Jaden Russell, Jared Daly, Paul Jansen, Brad Clank, Shane Witt, and Cohen Addard have all manually disconnected. So what does that leave us with? 2 teaspoons of bugger all in terms of the field here. But apparently we've got about 11 out there at this point in time. Maybe Yeah, 11. So what was a field of 19 has fast disintegrated, as they put it. And we're watching the battle for 7th and 8th now with Josh Thomas all over the back, I should say, of Dylan Gray. Nick, quickly give us a preview, because we know you'll skip out of here pretty quickly once the checkered flag flies in 15 minutes' time. NASCAR, Stockcar, Friday night, our favourite. The main course to the dessert and entree that is production cars and supercars. What are we looking forward to with regard to... Oh, have a look at this on the outside. The ocular aerial shot for you. Josh Thomas all over the back of Dylan Gray now and going for it on the inside. That was close. Couldn't get it. Gray holds on for the moment, making that Audi as wide as he possibly can right here. And he's already sent the message to Josh Thomas, if you want to find a way around, you're going to have to do it the long way. You're going to have to do it the hard way.
Good thing with these, if they step out, you just pin the throttle and it should pull the tail back in. So Dylan's got his hands full here. If you're listening, Dylan, just keep looking forward, mate.
Eyes on the prize. We won't distract him for the moment. Paul Nichols, how's your race faring at this point?
Oh, pretty good. I'm happy. Yeah, P5. It's all right.
Excellent. Still room to move as well. Nick, I was about to, before that excitement unfolded with Josh Thomas and Dylan Gray, was going to get you to give us a quick preview for Motorsport for the stock cars, which we're looking forward to. It's been a while since we've headed to Motorsport, but it's got all the right ingredients for a classic stock car road race.
Yeah, look, dangerous points are basically turns 1, 2, 3, and then run down to 5, 6. I'm hoping people use their brains, especially on the run down to 5, 6, because if you go in there too hot, you go on the grass and that cuts across the circuit and gets people who are trying to get their run onto the back stretch. As we've seen in previous NASCAR truck races, a lot of excitement, especially in the last 2 turns. So pretty much the track is action-packed. Lap time-wise, there's not much in it between... Oh, Josh Thomas makes a move.
Josh Thomas finally gets the job done on Dylan Gray. He's been setting that up for about a lap and a half, and he's found his way through.
In terms of the difference in speed between Arcas and the Xfinity cars, there's not much in it. I found about less than a second, comparing them back to back. Top speeds, we're hitting about 270 in the Xfinities, and they're doing about 260 in the Arca cars. So that's where the main, I guess, passing will be. Oh wow, Mr. Hobson just sliding everywhere. Might as well. While you're
dominating, 9.5 seconds in front.
Yeah, might as well. We're doing about 41 laps, and the tank is quite it's quite economical there. You can make about 15 laps, just shy of 16 laps on a tank. So watch for strategy across 40 laps, and watch for those Arca cars, especially the guys who have been doing the Arcas for quite a bit, getting right up there and giving pain to the Xfinity guys.
Should be mindful that for the second week in a row we will have that combined grid with the Arcas and the stock cars, or the Xfinity cars, which will be absolutely fantastic. It delivered great entertainment last week on the mountain. Should do the same again here at Motorsport, and of course you'll see it all live right here. Nick, of course, will be back with us in the commentary box after the broadcast of the stock cars to run through the supercars, and we're looking forward to that. He gets to have all the fun. We get to sit here and talk for a living, so it's going to be good. It's going to be good fun.
Get to see me laugh on my in-car camera.
Yeah, exactly. Kester Ward and Adam Lavis. Adam Lavis sitting 5th. Paul Nichols up into 4th. So actually, that's a bit of a change there.
Julian Mucky dropped out, I think.
Julian Mucky dropped out. Yeah. What a shame for Julian Mucky. He's showing on our screens in position number 11 at this point in time. But yeah, that's. He will soon drop a lap, having dropped out of the server. Oh, he's not showing us having dropped out as yet, so it might just be a case of he's had that internet issue and now he's back out there trying to redeem it and salvage it, but we'll wait and see how all that plays out. Brenton Hobson leads from Michael Hammond, Grant Gill, Paul Nichols and Adam Lavis, the top 5. Then Josh Thomas and Dylan Gray. It's a tough track to master, Dylan. You're doing well.
Yeah, I did make a mistake when Josh got past me. I took too much of the inside curb.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Let's go down the order to Kester Ward, sitting there in 10th at the moment. What's the plan of attack from here, mate? Is it just basically get round and get to the finish line and try and keep the nose clean?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a little bit frustrated. The person that I had the incident with has then decided to quit the race. So, I mean, I realistically I waited around for nothing. But, I mean, there's no point quitting out. You keep going. People will have accidents and hopefully get a couple of positions out of it.
My right-hand side.
Exactly. Dylan's getting nice and energetic about it. The only thing is, obviously, it's disappointing from our standpoint when we look around. There aren't too many battles unfolding out there on the racetrack, folks. However, Michael Hammond is still getting a good hurry up from Grant Gill, only 1.7 separating them at the moment, but Hammer's got him under control, and he's got his measure. We follow Kester Ward around. This is a great circuit. It's more synonymous with open wheelers, but also Tim Top racing here is not uncommon, of course, when you think about the United Sports Car Championship. They often have a sprint race here on IndyCar weekend. TCR, a completely different kettle of fish, but we've enjoyed having the bum draggers, as they call them, for the last couple of weeks. That would mean, considering that we've had 2 weeks of Pro Mazda, 2 weeks of Ford Mustang, 2 weeks of TCR, we're due for a car change next week, Paul Nichols.
Oh, I believe so. Yeah, so I haven't checked the schedule, but we'll see.
All right, keep us posted. I'll leave that up to you to determine and inform us on at the end of this race. We ride on board with Grant Gill at the moment. You can see Michael Hammond just ahead of him at the moment. We are inside the final. See, that's gone so quick, hasn't it? We've had all this interaction with all our in-race reporters, and we're into the final 10 minutes of the race. We're on lap 13, and Grant Gill doing a nice job there at this point in time, sitting third. Impressive run from Grant, actually. When you think of the calibre of drivers around him, Nico Pop, and it being a survival of the fittest, Grant's managed to survive.
Well, each week Grant's stepping up and getting better and faster and more consistent. So, seeing him, what do we got, 9/10, second behind Mikey Hammond, is actually really good.
Indeed it is. Through turn 1 into turn 2. Run down to turn 3. Just not able to go with Michael Hammond at the moment. Grant Gill's got good pace, but Mikey's just got that fraction more.
Well,
and Michael's doing enough to break that potential slipstream opportunity for Grant Gill as well.
Grant Gill's fastest lap is only 2/10 slower than Brenton Hobson's. It's last lap. It's Michael Hammond's consistency, I think.
Yeah.
Grant has a moment maybe once every 6 corners, and Mikey only has a moment once every 10 corners, if that makes sense.
I just want to go back to Paul Nichols at this point in time. Nico, it was always going to be hard to schedule everything around the expanding calendar that we've got on a Friday night. Also, obviously, adding new events in on Wednesdays and Mondays as well. But what's been the general consensus, the feedback to having 30-minute production car races after 2 seasons of 45-minute races?
So far, all positive. I think short and sharp, a bit of fun, not too serious, and I think everyone loves production car racing. I mean, pretty basic. You can't really change too much in these cars, so everyone's pretty on a pretty level playing field. So, yeah, good fun.
Indeed it is. So, lap 15 here for you. There is Paul Nichols in 4th place at the moment. Let's not put the mocker on him. Let's not put the pressure on him. Sitting there nicely. All about keeping the nose clean here at this point in time.
Of course Adam would say that.
Adam Lavis is right behind him.
7-10.
That's why he's ready for us to put the mocker on Paul, because he'd like to place 4th at the end of the night. Look, to be honest, gentlemen, 3rd is out of reach. These guys are 29 seconds up the road, but look at Grant Gill now. He's all over the back of Michael Hammond. He's close to within 0.55 of a second. Going into turn 3, we stay with Mikey Hammond at the moment. Looking out the back to Grant Gill. Gill putting in a tremendous run here, but Hammond up to the challenge. And if you're Grant Gill, do you get a little bit too confident and have a crack, or do you just wait for your moment, bide your time, and maybe just consolidate 3rd place and think, well, hang on, I haven't had a podium yet this year in the production cars. This would actually be an opportunity to seal a very good bunch of championship points. Adam Lavis, gather it up, son. And Josh Thomas gets through. Big moment there for Adam Lavis at the end of the back straight on the run to turn 3. Oh, wow.
There's Grant Gill right on the back of Mikey Hammond.
If you're Grant Gill, do you have a crack?
Of course, got to.
Even if it's Mikey Hammond?
Well, I mean, what have they got behind them?
Daylight. 31 seconds.
You got to. Even if you spin it, you can put it in first gear and get going again. But if Mikey's smart enough, he'll have all these exits covered and all these entries to corners covered. So it's going to be a tough nut to crack for Grant, but I mean, it'll be, once again, experience that he can chalk up and put under his belt and take to the next race. He's quicker through here.
Turn 2. Brilliant run out of turn 2 for Gill.
But these things have an after attack down the straight, so they can't really get higher than 200 kilometres an hour.
And he doesn't get enough of a slipstream. The straight isn't long enough for the slipstream to take effect for him. Smashes the ripple strip on the exit of 3. Hammond's up to the fight.
And if the director goes back 2 spots, Josh Thomas is the same distance behind Paul Nichols as well. So here they are, and Adam.
There they are. So Adam Lavis has slipped back 1.5 seconds from those pair that we're having a look at right now. Grant Gill all over the back of Hammond. Nico defensive with Thomas. Thomas yields for the moment, decides better of it. Simon Ferris is 7th. Jonathan Turner, Kester Ward and Dylan Gray. The running order. So Gray sitting 10th. All our in-race reporters in the top 10. That's good news, except Trent Lavis. He got booted for a jump start. And he's off preparing for the stock cars, so we'll get back to him a little bit later on. Through they go again. So Paul Nichols, this is definitely the fight for 4th. This pair can be beaten by Adam Lavis, of course, if they come together. But there's no way in hell they're catching Hammond and Gill 31 seconds up the road. Unless they come together and do irreparable damage to each other's cars, they're not being caught. Lap 17, 26 and a half minutes gone. Brenton Hobson's on lap 17 of the race. These guys are coming around to complete lap 16, so I think Hobbo might just get back. Oh, here we go. Here's the chance for Josh Thomas. They're going to go side by side into turn 13 on the run to turn 14. No.
Too much curve out. It's going to be on him.
Enough to hold Thomas off, and here comes Adam Lavis. The three-way fight for 5th for 4th, I should say, continues. Just wondering whether they'll get 3 to go or 2 to go, because it depends on when Brenton Hobson gets back to the line in that 30th minute. We'll have a clearer picture of that for you in the next minute or so. A 1:38.5 last time round for Brenton Hobson. So if he's anywhere around that 28:20 mark, we get 2 laps in. Anywhere north of that, we only get 1. Thomas to the outside. The up and under? No, too deep. Too deep.
Car coming in.
Compromised his ride. Adam Lavis fancies his chance to sneak up on the inside and can't do it. Thomas chops him off at the nose.
Apparently my car was going to disappear. Apparently he went straight for the apex.
I thought so, yeah. Like the ghost car that you chase in time trial mode. Paul Nichols holding off Josh Thomas at the moment, who's lucky to still be there. He probably shouldn't, given what Adam Lavis just reported to us.
I just noticed
down the back straight.
Nico's being serious tonight. He's got gloves on, so get the sweat off the palms and have good grip on the steering wheel. I hope he's got an Alcantara wheel.
It's 28-8 when Brenton Hobson got back to the line, so these guys are going to have 2 to go. The clock will expire on their penultimate lap, but Brenton Hobson will already be on his last lap, so there's 2 to go. Nico pushes the wall. Brush the wall on the exit. That's going to compromise his run down to the next corner, but he manages to hold the spot for the moment. Trying not to kiss the wall again on the exit of 12 and 13 on the run down to 14 they go now. Look at this. Paul Nichols under tremendous pressure from Josh Thomas here, and don't forget Adam Lavis is in the fight as well. 2 to go in Detroit. I'm not going to say anything to Nico at this point in time. I just want to focus on getting him home. He's sitting 4th. That's the best he can hope for here. Hammond and Gill are 31 seconds up the road. Hammond's broken away from Gill. He's got that pressure off his back a little bit now.
go.
Thomas to the inside at turn 3. It was a matter of time. The up and under from Paul Nichols, maybe? No. Thomas goes to 4th. Here comes Adam Lavis down on his inside. Now, is there a little bit of rear damage on that car from when he clipped the wall? Is that why Thomas was able to get by so easily and pull away? Wow. What drama here in the closing stages, because now Adam Lavis is right on Paul Nichols' tail as well. There is Brenton Hobson. Last lap in Detroit for Brenton Hobson.
All right, so Nico doesn't know if he's got damage. I dare say he might have a little bit. But he's got a second now on Adam Lavis as well. Mikey Hammond 20 seconds back from Brenton Hobson with Grant Gill right on his tail about a second behind. So that's the next closest fight.
Now, Kester Ward and Dylan Gray have both gone a lap down here. Frank Hodak 2 laps down, but they're still all running. 9th, 10th and 11th respectively. Hobson, Hammer, Gill, Thomas, Nichols, Ben Lavis, Ferris, Turner. The top 8 in this race. All on the lead lap.
Paul just hit the wall.
Uh-oh. Nichols is in the wall.
Oh, jeez.
Nichols is crunched up.
Car's broken. It's broken.
The car's broken.
Try your best, try your best.
He's just going to have to limp it home from there, and it might be 8th at this point in time. Ferris goes through to take 6th. Turner will go through to take 7th, and Nico needs to limp it home. No, he's actually parked it.
Yep.
Oh, dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Brenton Hobson on that. Well, see, this is the thing. If Brenton wasn't so fast, the race probably would have finished on the previous lap.
Well, also,
You
Nico
know.
wasn't driving a Subaru, so...
Yes, true.
Yeah, it's not all drive, so yeah.
Round they come for the last time. Brenton Hobson, too good in Detroit. He gets the job done in Michigan on the streets of Belleville. Brenton Hobson carves it up in the TCR on a Friday night.
Quickly, let's go back to Grant Gill and Mikey Hammond. Last braking zone, Mikey Hammond's in front.
Hammer will get the job done for 2nd, but not without a tremendous push all the way from Grant Gill. That's been one of Grant Gill's better drives, I reckon. All the way to 3rd. Hammer will take 2nd. He just couldn't go with Brenton Hobson tonight. 19 seconds the winning margin, or something in the vicinity of that figure. Just extraordinary from 1st to 2nd there. 22 in the end it blew out to. 22.2. Grant Gill half a second behind. Josh Thomas will come home in 4th, but not. He's still about 20 seconds away from the line. Adam Lavis will be 5th. Simon Ferris, Jonathan Turner and Paul Nichols, with Kester Ward in 9th and Dylan Gray in 10th.
All right, I'm going to depart.
What about that?
Well done,
Nick,
everybody.
thank you. All the best. Good luck in the stock cars. We'll check in with you soon. We'll have the results for you in a moment. Then we'll take the quickest of breaks as we load into the Motorsports server here, folks. Congratulations to all involved on a Friday night. We'll catch up with Brenton Hobson later on, as we usually do. And as far as our in-race reporters are concerned, Adam Lavis the best in 5th place. Bang.
0 incidents. Yeah.
Well done with the 0 incidents too, mate. Bonus points are always handy. So Hobbo, Hammer, Gill, Thomas, Lavis, Ferris, then Jonathan Turner in 7th, Paul Nichols in 8th, Kester Ward and Dylan Gray. What'd you make of all of that, Kester?
Yeah, still a bit frustrated about my leaving, but I mean, I reckon I would have got, a fair few spots, but see what happens.
I can sense the frustration. I like it because you've been able to keep a lid on it, knowing full well that it's only 5 o'clock in the west at the moment. I appreciate that. Dylan Gray, your thoughts on 10th there, mate, as you see the results on your screen, ladies and gentlemen?
I had a shocker for the last 4 laps. I binged it all by myself, and I had to get a fast repair.
Fair enough. And Paul Nichols, well, so near yet so far, mate. You were sitting there nicely looking for 5th in the end, and then all hell breaks loose on the last lap, which, as I said, if it weren't for Brenton Hobson being 22 seconds out in front, it may not have extended that extra lap for you.
Yeah, that's okay. Look, my fault. Loss of concentration. Actually, I'm not going to blame you, Zach. It's actually all my fault. You hit the wall, damaged the suspension, wouldn't drive straight, so I had to go in the pit, do a quick fast repair and get back out. And where'd I finish? P10, was it?
Yes, P8 actually, because
P8,
you had Kester and Dylan a lap down there. In the end.
Top 10, Zach. Happy with that any day of the week.
Exactly right, mate. Very nicely done. So that's the production cars done and dusted for you, folks. We wish Adam and Kester all the best in the stock cars. I believe Kester will stick in here and have a chat to us during the race from Mosport. Adam Lavis is off to look forward to what's ahead on the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park circuit there. Dylan Gray, when do we catch up with you next?
Probably during Stockcar race.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's get a quick update from Chris Kisby and Race Control. And good evening to you, mate.
Yeah, Zach. Yes, good evening, Zach. An absolutely brilliant race there. Some great driving, some wide cars, and 2 incidences throughout the race, both redressed on track. I don't believe from my vision there was any protest coming from it, but we will wait and see. But a really good race, mate.
Indeed it was. On that note, let's grab a break here. It's Friday Night Motorsport for SimShed Broadcasting for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We hope you're enjoying it. We're here with thanks to all the great people at Central Coast Subaru, LJ Hooker Gander, Racecraft, Oculair, Flash Graphics, Simple Sim Computers, and Stone Cold Racing. One leg down in the triple treat the eve before you go trick-or-treating, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 2 legs still to come. It's a North American triple on a Friday night. We go to Canada next. The stock cars from Mosport, and then back to the streets of Belle Isle a little bit later on for the Stone Cold Supercar Series. And we're bringing you the second split, the development split tonight. Looking forward to that immensely. In the meantime, stand by for plenty more where that came from. We'll hear from Grant Gill and Josh Thomas on the other side as well. Clear? From the streets of Belle Isle, Michigan in Detroit to the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Canada, the venue affectionately known as Mosport International Raceway plays host to round 6 of the Stockcar Series for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Friday night motorsport for you. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in. Zach Cabin back with you. Let's dissect what we just saw in the TCR race. Let's start with Grant Gill and then Josh Thomas as well. Two very good results here for these boys in the top 5. The stock car qualifying session underway. We'll get to that in just a moment. Grant Gill, 3rd place, mate. You got to be happy with that.
Good evening, Zach. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. To have been battling from behind with Mikey is a big feather in my cap, I tell you.
Absolutely, and of course the fact is that you sat with him every step of the way. Was there ever a moment in your mind where you thought, I might be able to have a move here? Was there desire to go for second at any point?
Yes, certainly. I mean, that'd be an even bigger feather. That'd be like a vulture feather or something in your cap. But no, look, he was tapping the wall a couple of times. Around there, you get 0x for most of your little taps, and I had a pretty good run on him at the end of the first straight, the long straight there, and also into the bus stop area there. They're probably your 2 prime spots on this track, and I just wanted to make sure that if I was going to have a go, there's a high chance of success, because I'd hate to take Michael off, but I'd also be really disappointed to drop a 3rd.
Well, that's exactly right, mate. And I guess the other thing too, quickly before we go, we know we kept you a little bit longer than you needed to be kept, but you've got to be happy with the fact that you're finally getting some results up there at the pointy end of the production car field. Clearly, the TCR car agreed with you, but also the misfortune of others around you. There was a fair rate of attrition in that race as well that worked in your favour.
Yeah, I like the TCR. Had a good result at in wherever we were on Wednesday night, 3rd place there, and that was a great result. What I've been able to do is not have all my silly offs. That was quite consistent in my racing game. So I've put a piece of foam under my accelerator pedal. I've adjusted my brake pedal, and it's really coming on for me. So really happy, having some great results in up and comers, battling with Selby Wood. So a lot of fun.
Yep. All right, mate. Well done. Thank you for stopping by. Of course, Grant Gill, always great to catch up, and of course, he's an integral part of what we do here with the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. He's on board as a sponsor as well. So thank you, mate, and great to have you on board. And we'll catch up with you again next week.
Cheers.
Beautiful. Right, Josh Thomas, let's go to you. Top 5 in amongst all that carnage, and by gee, there was plenty of it around you and Paul Nichols and Adam Lavis tonight, but you kept your nose clean and got out in front. And as we said to Paul Nichols, had the race gone 1 lap shorter, he probably would have held on there, but unfortunately he went 1 lap longer. He's crunched the wall, and you're the beneficiary, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Yeah, I was going to run. I just tapped Brad at the start when he crashed, so that I had to go into the pits and get prepared for that. And then, I just had enough pace on everyone except the top 3, and slowly worked my way past. Bloody Dylan was very driving defensive, and Rich is fine. It was a great drive. It took a bit to get around him.
Indeed, and it's a tricky old circuit, the Belle Isle circuit. How'd you find that?
Yeah, I love that track. I love all the concrete canyon type track. If you make a mistake, well, that's your own fault, really, and that's pretty much what happens. If you can keep it off the wall, then you're generally in for a good standing.
And clearly you're a fan of the TCR cars based on that performance?
Yeah, I liked them. I did them all last season.
Yep.
I think I did okay when we did Belle Isle last season. I missed the first couple of rounds just because I was doing a different series, but I do enjoy them. I enjoy them more than the GT4s anyway.
Fantastic stuff, mate. And thoughts on next week, because I'm just having a look through the calendar here. We go back to non-concrete canyons next week, which will be good fun. I'm just going to double check where we are next Friday night. Of course, our first race of November. There's only 4 rounds left in the championship now. And we're off to Barber Motorsports Park. What are your thoughts on Alabama?
What track is it? I don't think
Barber Motorsports Park.
No, I don't know. I haven't done it yet. So I better get some practice in.
On and onward and upward, mate. Off to it. Go well, and good luck with preparations for next Friday night. We'll catch up.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Josh, Thomas, Grant, Gill, appreciate those guys stopping on by to have a chat to us here in Central Commentary. Now, Connor Brown's just got crunched up in a big way here in the qualifying session. Here's Brenton Hobson on your screen, though, folks, in the meantime. So, Mosport, the venue, round 6 of the Stockcar Series. We've got the ARCA cars out there again as well. A field of 22 lining up here, or it'll be 21, actually, because Chris Kisby's in race control. Excuse me again. Trent Lavis is back in the commentary box. You've obviously been able to spend a little bit of time in the naughty corner, but while sitting in the naughty corner with TCR, you've been able to prepare yourself for Mosport, mate. Your thoughts on this circuit?
This is a ripper track. I remember fondly last time we were here in the stock cars, a couple of guys spinning in front of the safety car. Shout out to Goran. It was a good fun race. Very technical track, and I think the trail braking is critical around here. So if you can't trail brake, you're absolutely bugging, especially in these cars.
I just realised a very recurring trend going on here, ladies and gentlemen, that we should actually be in discussions with Dylan Cothill so that this is labelled the skid control commentary box, because I don't even feel like I'm in my own booth at the moment. I've got Trent Lavis here, Adam Lavis here, I've got Kester Ward here, and very shortly we're going to have Dennis Gaderick as well. We've got all the skid control boys in for the stock car race tonight, and Paul Nichols will be back with us very shortly. On that subject, Dennis Gaderick not racing tonight. Instead, he's going to sit in here and lend some expert comments to us, and we're looking forward to this race, Dennis. Mosport always throws on some great stock car racing, particularly when you got the likes of Brenton Hobson and Carl Watmore doing their thing at the front of the field. And I know your main eyes will no doubt be on the supercar second split, which is coming up. You're on the broadcast tonight from the streets of Michigan after this.
Well, that's the thing. There's some talk about being in the main split there, Zach. So we'll see what that transpires. We'll see how that goes. But I mean, the track that they're racing on, I genuinely love the track. It always throws up good racing, just because there's a lot of I suppose there's that main hairpin, let's say, always passing opportunities, and the corners are sort of fast flowing. If you make a mistake, the guy behind you will get you at the end of the straight. So it's good racing. I'm really keen to give it a red hot crack.
A minute 20 left in the qualifying session as Brenton Hobson ejects himself out of the server after doing a Ben Snell and drifting around the circuit. Well done to him. There's the layout and the circuit for you. Let's have a look at some race stats here for you. The server is split. Server is set, I should say, not split. Server is set to the 15th of May. So that's during the daylight saving window there in the United States. 4:18 local time and Canada. 21 and partly cloudy, 33 on track. Winds northerly, but bugger all, 3 kilometres an hour. That's not going to have much of an impact here. 97 k's an hour with the pace car speed, 56 k's an hour the pit lane speed. Setups are identical to baseline, of course. 45% fuel tank capacity. Nick has broken that down for us. We'll tell you what that's all about in just a moment. 3 fast repair limits incidents, 17x, and then every 10x after that. I think that's 3.96 kilometres and 10 turns. That's all the information I have to give you with regards to this circuit. Good to have the ARCA cars back. Dennis, obvious question. You opted to race last week. You got somewhat peer pressured into last week. Obviously opted not to have a race this week. Any reason why you've chose to sit this one out?
Oh, it's actually... it kind of sounds bad, but it's my dad's birthday, so I didn't exactly get to practice. So I spent the sort of, kind of the day there with him. So it's just. I mean, I probably should have, but yeah, exactly. I probably could have jumped in, but at the same time, just no practice. I would have been more of a hindrance to people around rather than because you need to practice in these cars. You can't just jump in.
All right, let's have a look at the grid on that note. Yes, exactly. Cal Watmore and Brenton Hobson in the front row. Cal's got a quarter of a second on Brenton Hobson, which bodes well for Cal to continue his winning streak. Trent Lavis and Paul Rogers, the second row. Warwick Sharp and Nick O'Pop, the third row. Then John Simpson and Jackson Rayhana, the fourth row. Good to have Jackson back on the grid. Kester Ward and Josh Thomas, the fifth row. Then Josh Millard and Hudson Sinclair, the sixth. 7th row is Sean Rees and Julia Mucky. 8th row, Adam Lavis and Paul Jensen. 9th row, Dylan Gray and Connor Brown. 10th row, Chris Kisby and Jaden Russell. 11th row, Anthony Visma and Garth Horsfall. The last 4 on the grid there yet to set a time, so whether they actually compete or start from the lane remains to be seen. Keys to the race here, well, let's be perfectly honest, it is a 40-lap race. 40 laps or an hour and 5. I don't think time certainty is going to be an issue there. It's never a time certain race, these stock car races, but it's always our server is set so that we have time and laps listed. So I've always got to mention both. 40 laps around here, a minute 18 is the fastest lap we've seen from Carl Watmore, a minute 18.7. So we should be well and truly safe with all of that. There is going to be one competition caution, and it will be chucked sometime between lap 5 and 30. Paul Nichols and Chris Kisby will be in charge of that. Not sure if Nico's going to join us for the stock car race here. I haven't seen him come back into the split, into the com box after the production car race just gone. He's probably just topping up the wine bottle, getting ready to go for the rest of the night now that his driving duties are done. Pace car is going to lead the field away here on the formation lap. And again, it's that battle between Watmore and Hobson resuming. Next week, this series heads to the Sonoma Raceway, the Cup configuration of Sonoma, and looking forward to that. But right now, our focus is on Mosport, which was the member vote going into this round. Of course, you'll remember last week we said we couldn't give you a venue for the stock cars. Well, we do have that venue now. It is Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It's our only stop in Canada on a Friday night for the rest of the season. We've already been to the streets of, to the circuit of Montreal, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Now we get to go to Mosport as well, but it is the last Canadian stop of the year. We've got Nico Pop down in the bottom corner of your screen there, folks, concentrating hard, getting ready for the start of the race. Championship standings. Yes, exactly. Championship standings. Cal Watmore 154, Michael Schreier 140, Trent Lavis 121, Brenton Hobson 120, 106 for Adam Lavis, then Jackson Rayhana 91, 73 for Nico Pop, 66 for Keston Ward, 47 for Michael Cracknell, and 43 for Dennis Gaderick, the top 10. The development split, if you like, Warwick Sharp 150, Dylan Gray 76, Anthony Visma 72, Connor Brown 68, and Josh Millard 55. And split, drop rounds and everything else will come into play at the end of this round. So corrected order and everything else will be coming your way as soon as Adam Lavis crunches the numbers. Whether that's going to be tonight or next week, I'm not sure. Now, getting set for a start here.
Just FYI,
Yes, mate.
Looks like Nick's forgot to push the button, so we're all mixed in the grids rather than being our separate grids, so it should be an interesting start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it should be a very interesting start. Okay, that's going to be interesting indeed, because you're going to have Paul Rogers and Warwick Sharp there 4 and 5 rather than Nick on 4. Yeah, okay. So we've got ARCA cars mixed in with Cup cars, or Xfinity cars in this case, getting set for a start. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park playing host around 6 to start of the second half of the series. Our last Friday night outing for the month of October. Cal Watmore leads us to green. We're racing in Canada. The triple trade on a Friday night, leg 2 of the triple header. Brenton Hobson forcing the issue around the outside at the start. Trent Lavis looking up on the middle as well. And Hobson's going to the lead on the inside at turn 2. Lavis looking to go with him, and Watmore muscled out to dry. But looking to fight back on the inside as they head through turn 4. What an electric start here, with Brenton Hobson taking the early lead. Watmore hanging tough, that works for him. He was able to fend off that fight from Trent Lavis. And what we should point out as well, the big out tonight, Dennis Gaderick, Michael Schreier not on this grid.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a... Don't get me wrong, the race is still going to be great. I genuinely think that Brenton did a great job there. It's cold tyres, obviously. You can't really warm them up on the outlet because you lose a bit of extra grip, though. So for him to stay around the outside around turn 1, which is a long turn, that's a solid effort right there. He did great.
Brenton Hobson going for the triple header tonight, going for the clean sweep. If he can win this, he'll be well and truly alive and on track for it when we get back to the streets of Detroit for the supercar race. But we're not bringing you the top split tonight. I believe we're bringing you the second split. So stick around for that. We, of course, brought you the second split of the Porsches last week. It's supercars this week. Second split of the GTs on Monday night for you as part of our expanded coverage of Gentlemen Sim Racing Club to try and give the other members a little bit more exposure rather than just the pointy end. Now, here's Warwick Sharp, the leader of the ARCA group, I should say second, rather. Paul Rogers has got the upper hand there in the early stages. So it's like 2 of 40 and already Brenton Hobson, Carl Watmore and Trent Lavis, the top 3. Nick's got through on Warwick Sharp. They go into position number 5. Oh boy. Remember, vote, it's going to be a great race.
Just throws up the typical racing that Stockcar does, that's for sure.
Exactly right.
I actually genuinely like the fact that the ARCA cars it wasn't separated, because obviously with Warwick Sharp and Paul as well, I mean they've genuinely got the pace, even though the cars are a little bit under spec. Not too bad considering sort of, let's say, what driving can do, but I think it just sort of throws up a little bit of a variable as well, and I genuinely think that that's not a bad idea.
This is exactly right. Brenton Hobson, Carl Watmore, Trent Lavis, 1, 2 and 3. Watmore the fastest lap of the race thus far. You're watching round 6 of the Stockcar Series, Friday Night Motorsport, SimShed Broadcasting, Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. We're here with thanks to Central Coast Subaru and LJ Hooker Gaindar. Also flash graphics, the aerial shots courtesy of Oculair there as well. Stone Cold Racing, Simple Sim Computers and Racecraft, our other ongoing supporters and sponsors in Season 3 of 2020. Trent Lavis doing a nice job to stick with Hobson and Watmore here at the moment. And it's interesting to note that Lavis has a win to his name this series. So does Michael Schreier. Carl Watmore has 3 to his name. Brenton Hobson looking to be the 4th different winner of this series in the top split so far. Zach Cabot and Dennis Gaderick with your Friday Night Motorsport. Here's Jackson Rayhana and all the swagger that is his profile picture there on the bottom left of your screen. So they make their way down. He's all over the back here of Hudson Sinclair.
I think that was a prime example of the difference between the main stock cars and the ARCA cars. Very, very similar in the turns, but down the straight, there's a genuine difference there. That's why it's creep up so quick.
Brenton Hobson, fastest lap of the race, 1:19.44. So Hobson leading early. Will this be the night that he beats Carl Watmore at his game?
Cal might have a little.
We shall wait and see.
Yeah, he might have a little.
Oh, off goes Sinclair into the wall on the exit of, I think that was turn 3 or 4 there. What a moment. And that's, he managed to get back on the black stuff, so he's obviously missed the wall. He was heading straight for it, but he's managed to just slide it on the grass. And Rayhana holds on at this point in time. Gets the spot. Here's another look. And he's just lost it on the marbles out here, it would appear. Just gone a little bit too deep, Dennis.
It's very, very easy to do there. It doesn't look it, but the road is actually, even though it's flat going in, it's slightly off cambered, so you have to be on the line. Otherwise, I mean, that's going to happen to you essentially. So yeah, it's a very, very deceiving corner. It's a hard one, and that's a very, very easy thing to do.
3.96 kilometres this circuit. So the race at 40 laps, we're pressing that 155 kilometre mark. Actually, it'll be a little bit more than that, obviously. It'll be up closer to 160. Lap 5. Trent Lavis under some pressure here at the moment from Paul Rogers, the first of the ARCA cars. We're only a tenth of the way through the race. At the end of this lap, it becomes an 8th. Don't forget, competition caution will be thrown sometime between laps 6 and 30. And Nick sent through the numbers before the race. I didn't get a chance to run through these, but the numbers here 31.8 litre tank.
Hobbo lost lead.
Carl Watmore takes the lead off Brenton Hobson. Let me come back to those numbers in just a moment. Brenton Hobson's had a moment exactly where Sinclair did, I'd say. No, he's gone on through. He's cut too much curb there and caught the gravel on the exit. Just about to head onto the back straight. Lavis did well to hold it as well. Now Hobbo's got all the hard work to do from behind because, as we've so often seen, Dennis, once you give Carl Watmore clear air, it's hard to go with him.
Absolutely. But to be fair with you, I don't think Cal was really attacking Hobbo, if that really makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see if sort of Hobbo with his, let's say, raised adrenaline can sort of keep up with him. But yeah, I suppose up there, I mean, if anybody's been sim racing here, it's very, very easy to do as well. But yeah, once you touch that grass, it's an eternity coming back. You're turning the wheel, but the car's not doing anything. So that wouldn't have exactly been a good feeling, but I'm sure he's got a bit of motivation to get back, that's for sure.
Yep, so that was in that 5A, 5B, 5C section rather than, I mean, Sinclair went off through turn 2, but yeah, the incident up there, 5A, 5B, 5C for Brenton Hobson, which is where we are now as they head onto the back straight. And we're riding with Paul Rogers following Trent Lavis. Now, the numbers that Nick gave to me, 31.8 litres to the tank. Arca cars are burning 1.85 litres a lap. Xfinity cars are burning 2.01. Interesting to note that the total transit time is going to be about 45 seconds if you include 13.6 seconds stop. And if you can burn 16 laps to a tank, you'll burn 1.98 litres a lap rather than the 2.12 for a 15 lap tank. So that's going to be interesting because...
That's a bent chassis right there, slightly.
That's massive trouble for Jackson Rayhana.
He's doing well, but look at him go.
I'd like to be able to walk that well after... Yeah, geez, have a look at this. He's driving as well as a lot of us would like to be able to walk after a night on the beers.
Yeah, he's doing well. Oh, here we go. Yep, there
bang.
you go. Yep.
Oh, crunch. That's a big hit for Rayhana. Exactly the same spot as Hudson Sinclair, except he actually found the wall on this occasion.
Yeah,
and crabbing all the way back to the lane. And have a look at that. It's exactly like walking legless. One step forward, 2 steps back, and 3 sideways. Julia Mucky's gone into the wall. I heard that in the effects piece. So you'll see Julia Mucky with a big moment in just a few seconds' time. Lap 7 of 40 here. Carl Watmore, the leader from Brenton Hobson, Trent Lavis, Paul Rogers, then Nico Pop. And here's Mucky's moment. Oh, exactly the same. Yep. Except different. Same, but different. And he found the other wall. Now, this is the thing too. Wow. This is the thing too, Dennis. If you can get 14 laps to a tank, it's a 2-stop race. So 14, 15, 16, you're in that window, that's not a problem. 13 becomes a little bit of a problem because you're going to have to save for a couple of laps behind the safety car because 3 13s are 39. So everyone's going to be pushing for that 14, 15 lap run.
Massive better than mine, man. I generally didn't even sort of take that into sort of consideration. But yeah, well, that's the thing. So obviously there's a compulsory safety car that needs to happen. So what these drivers are essentially doing on the road right now is they're driving to essentially a number. Everybody's trying to save as much fuel as they can. So obviously the more laps you can do now, the better it is that your stint will be at the end, because either you can sort of pit a little bit earlier than anybody else, or you can obviously you can drag it out until the finish. So that's essentially what this whole first part of the race is. But obviously, I mean, if you look at lap speed, Cal Watmore, he's most likely saving fuel, but it's the same as anybody else driving flat chat. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. He can sort of manage that really well, which is why he's really successful in the actual races itself. So yeah, it's the strategy part of this series is, I think, essentially what makes it, because your tyres, you lose about a second a lap pace-wise. Obviously there's fuel, there's tyres, there's everything. It's crazy.
Here's Carl Watmore right now. Then Brenton Hobson, then Trent Lavis, then Nico Pop, is there on your screen in position number 5, having a great run. Paul Rogers was the car in 4th. He's the first-placed ARCA car. At this point in time, we'll give you a brief rundown of who's who in the zoo there shortly.
I think Paul's got himself in a good position, to be honest with you. So that straight line deficit that he has, he's got it behind Trent in the toe. So he's minimising that deficit that he would on the normal, like on let's say a typical straight line without toe. And then obviously he's still doing a great job through the turns and the braking markers and everything like that. So yeah, he's got himself in a good spot here. So if the safety car comes out, he'll be roughly there.
Indeed, he will be. Dylan Gray has retired from the race. So too Jaden Russell. Dylan was in our chat. Oh, there's the caution now. Wow, that's an early caution. That's a very early caution. So the random number throws the strategy play right out the window here. I was just about... So Dylan Gray, just quietly, folks, has retired from the race. I wondered who jumped out of our commentary box. It was Dylan, so we won't be hearing from Dylan anytime soon, which is unfortunate, but okay. This is really interesting, Dennis, because I was about to say, if you throw the caution sometime between, lap 14 and lap 28, after everyone's had that first pit stop,
yeah,
it throws the strategy play right out the window. Here, however, everyone gets a free pit stop. Everyone comes in, everyone takes on 4 tyres, everyone tops up the tank. It's a 2-stop race. It's now and then about lap 25. So this is the strategy of this race has just essentially gone right out the window as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. It's sort of, I'm trying to just run the math in my head. So obviously this lap, there's no, you can't come in to do it. The safety car is going to be out for about, let's say 3 or 4 laps. It'll be one of the two. So that will bring us out to 13, 14. If I was more, let's say in the back marker stage, I'd probably, take the risk of doing the pit. But at the same time, it sort of depends on what Cal or what Hobbo or what Trent do. Just because if we pit now and then we need to extend it again, it could very much be a 3 pit stop race. Oh, geez, that's a tough one. Wouldn't want to be in the race seat, that's for sure.
I've got some numbers here if you wanted me to throw them out to you.
Trent Lavis, good evening again.
Yeah, just had a bit of a shaky start there. I made a few blues on my own, and looks like Hobbo made his own mistake down at the turn onto the back straight there.
Yep.
Dropping a wheel, which is really easy to do in these cars. You can't see the exit. Ripple strip comes up on top of you over the crest, and as soon as you drop a wheel out there, you're a passenger. So he did well to recover as well as he did and not lose too much ground. And I couldn't capitalise because I was too busy turning my tyres into smoke. So I lost the opportunity there.
Indeed. Now, what are your thoughts going forward from here, mate? Because the way I see it, it's a 2-stop race, and everyone gets a free stop right now.
Yeah, definitely 2-stop. Definitely 2-stop. Definitely pit now.
All in. Have a look at this. Watmore, Hobson, Lavis. Let's watch this. Trent said he's got some numbers for us. We'll get back to him once he's got through the mind-numbing process of the completing the pit stop, because we know these guys need to concentrate here because these races are so often won and lost on the lane. But have a look at that. A car length, if that, separating the 3 of them. And they all pull up. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, Trent, you missed the pit box,
mate. And so
too far right. Hobbo did the same thing. I think he's after me. Oh, wow. That was diabolical.
Cal, later, Cal.
See you, buddy. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, Cal.
Oh, no,
all the best, mate.
Might get a good run here.
Paul Rogers is going to be well placed in the ARCA car.
Oh, no, he must have made a mistake
and Trent gets off the road in front of Hobbo. And Adam Lavis is the big winner in all that. He's going to go up to 4th.
Well,
in terms of the corrected order, because there are a few guys that have chosen to stay out.
Ooh.
There are a few cars that have chosen to stay out. So this is interesting. Nick's going to lead the race. Josh Thomas, Connor Brown, Daxton Ray Harder, and Carl Watmore. Now, oh geez, I don't know. Nick, we know Nick likes to go as far as he can on a tank, but surely he knows, because he sent through the numbers, surely he knows that he's in the window now, that if he pits, if he can stretch the tank out 15 litres, which by the numbers that he sent through he can, he knows it's a 1-stop race for those that have just pitted. Trent, what are your numbers telling you?
I'm averaging about 2.1 a lap, fuel-wise, and I still need about 30 litres to finish the race. So definitely another stop. Definitely another stop required.
That's right. So essentially what we're saying here is 31.8 litre tank, 2.1 a lap. You're getting 15 laps to a tank. So that, yeah, for mine, it's 30 laps to go. So you can stop lap 25 or the end of lap 25 and get home comfortably without pushing too hard or saving too much. So that's a good sign. What's going to be interesting now is you, Brenton and Cal, not overshooting your marker next stop.
The other thing as well is the undercut here isn't as excessive, the drop-off. So my delta on my laps there towards before we came into this is only about 1.5-2 seconds off my optimum. So pace is hot, and but the drop-off and the undercut isn't as substantial as somewhere, say, like Montreal.
Exactly
I'd like
right.
to know what happened to Rogers in the pit. That should have been his one to absolutely slam through.
And yet he's come out in 10th.
Yeah,
He's come out in 10th. So Nick's going to lead this thing back to green. He'll absolutely be loving that. Connor Brown, Jackson Rayhana directly behind him, then Josh Millard, then Watmore, Lavis and Hobson. So it's just the four of them that stayed out that time round, playing the opposite strategy. No, he came in. He actually got a great run through the lane because he leapfrogged Jansen, Rogers. Adam had a great run through pit lane. So Adam Lavis, you're sitting pretty at the moment, sitting there fourth on corrected order. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, it seems I was the only one that managed to get in my box without overrunning or going too far right. So
exactly
regular pit stop for me, and I've jumped right up the field.
This is what practice can do for you, isn't it?
Jansen's done the same thing because he's right behind me. So we did a lot. Kessler must have made a mistake because he's behind us now. So
just quickly explain that to us, Trent. Sorry, Kester, you go.
Oh, just saying I made the exact same mistake and I should know better around here, so that was pretty disappointing.
Trent, how hard is it to hit your box, hit your marker on this circuit? Because obviously the pit lane's fairly tight.
It's not too bad. It's downhill, so braking can be a little bit tricky. So when you jump on it, you got to be a little bit lenient. But it was very strange. The pit guys sort of came out of my screen and they were a long way to the right. So it said I was too far to the right, like close to the wall, and had my left wheels on the white line in the fast lane. So I don't know what's going on there.
Very lucky that Hobbo and Paul Rogers made the similar mistakes there, mate.
Made the same mistake, yeah, exactly. Yeah. In the meantime, it's a free pass for Cal Watmore. However, no harm, no foul, because there's still 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack. It's still Watmore in terms of the corrected order. It's still Watmore, Lavis and Hobson. That was a huge opportunity for Watmore to try and put some distance between himself and those cars behind him. But it looks as though there were several that made the same mistake. Getting set to get back racing here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Nico Pop leads us back to green and leads comfortably into one. Rayhana immediately up on the inside of Connor Brown. Job done. Watmore and Lavis wasted no time in getting through either. Their next target is Brown. Hobbo will hopefully be trying not to get boxed in there and didn't. So Watmore, Lavis and Hobson, 1, 2 and 3. And Trent Lavis is sandwiched amongst the two hot shots of this competition. Rayhana their next target, then Nico Pop. Now, just how far can these guys go on this tank? Because they've saved a couple of laps, so they'll stretch their window out to maybe lap, 17 or 18. And that will mean 2 12-lap runs, which means they can try and burn a little bit more fuel as they go in the hope of grabbing some lap speed and some outright pace, but at the same point that could compromise their tyres somewhat. So it's a double-edged sword, Dennis Gaderick. I don't know how this is going to play out.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. We know what the pit strategy is now like. It's essentially a sprint to, sort of the end of the race. When the other people are going to pit. So, yeah, it's just go hard or essentially go home, and that's what they're doing. That's why you can see sort of Trent and Hobbo have really ranged up on behind of Cal. So if wherever Cal's going to make a move, they are as well.
Rayhana wide. Rayhana wide and Watmore goes straight through. that allowed Lavis and Hobson through as well. So unfortunately for Jackson Rayhana, what was second on the racetrack is now fifth. Corrected order, first, second, and third are sitting there nose to tail. This is going to be hot stuff all the way to the checkered flag. This is going to be a cracking motor race.
Oh, he's wide.
Yes, some on the inside, one more wide. Lavis looking to go to the lead around the outside of Watmore. Can't do it.
Hobbo's on the inside. Oh, on the outside now, but there you go.
Wow. Shots fired early on here. Watmore under serious pressure. An evenly matched fight. Evenly matched contest between Watmore, Lavis, and also Brenton Hobson, who's flying the flag for his team tonight. No Michael Schrayer on the grid tonight. What could have been a 4-car fight is a 3-car fight, but what a fight it's turning out to be. They close right up on Nico Pop here at the moment. Now, if you're Nico Pop, do you want to lead this thing, or do you want to not hold these guys up? Do you want to just let them go and have their own fight and run your own race? That's going to be the interesting question that'll be answered here in the next couple of laps. Nico Pop will lead them across the line at the end of lap 14, lap 15 in the books now, and 26 laps to go for you, ladies and gentlemen. Watmore. It looks like Nick's come to play here as Watmore goes up on the outside. Lavis and Hobson sitting there. Watmore wide, but gathered it up nicely. This is exciting stuff. Don't you just love it when these three are on the same piece of real estate?
Oh, 110%. The racing's always good. They give each other the respect, which always makes sort of, the racing great. But if we're going to talk about parity, I was just looking there. We've got a Camry versus a Ford versus a Chevy.
And Watmore to the lead, to the official outright lead now. And he's put some distance between himself and the rest by putting Nico Pop in between.
That's very important. That is
absolutely. He's been able to get by to compromise the run for Lavis and Hobson, who are both going to try and get Nico Pop now. On the run down. Trent will get by. Brenton will have to wait. Capitalising on your track position, so important around here, and Carl Watmore's done it better than anybody.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was, it was a little, don't get me wrong, it was I don't want to say a little bit desperate, but he definitely sort of was a little bit more aggressive than he wanted to be. But yeah, you look at that, he's got a bit of a gap, but Trent's really responded well since he's passed Nick. He's really closed the gap already, so yeah, he's on him. And
this is the thing too, Trent would have liked to have got past there for the same reason Cal would have wanted to get past. Try and relieve some pressure. Put some distance between yourself and your competition, because up until then, a coat of varnish is all that was separating them. Now, things are looking okay. Cal Watmore still under pressure from Trent Lavis, and Brenton Hobson trying to latch back onto the group. Is this the night Hobson can get the triple treat? We'll wait and see. Here's Jackson Rayhana sitting in fifth at the moment, ahead of Adam Lavis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the racetrack. All the Xfinity cars at this point in time. Dennis Gaderick sitting alongside yours truly, Zach Caban in central commentary as we bring you round 6 of the Stockcar Series Friday Night Motorsport for the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. And this is Season 3 of the 2020 iRacing year. Let's check in with our in-race reporters, Trent Lavis and Kester Ward. Trent, that was a nice, clean restart for you three. You're sitting right there nicely with Cal and Brenton at the moment. But obviously, Cal being able to get by Nick a little bit less unimpeded than you has given Cal just 2 car lengths of breathing space. Not enough to be comfortable, but just enough to relieve a little bit of the pressure.
Yeah, Cal's definitely not pushing at the moment. He's saving fuel because it's actually quite tight to make 2 stops in this race. So we'll see what happens.
Indeed it is.
Hobbo's looking pretty racy at the moment.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a fuel race. There's no doubt about that. 2.1 to a 38-point leader, 2.1 to a 31.8 rather, litre tank. 2.1, so 15. That's going to get you 31.5. So you're going to have 0.3 of a litre up your sleeve. So if you start saving, it's going to make it a little bit easier to manage. But it is touch and go. Nico Pop's probably well aware of that. That's why he's still going well into his... This is lap 16 for him in his opening stint. He has not stopped yet. He won't be far off his window, though. Dennis, what do you think of Trent's performance thus far? He's certainly holding his own against 2 of the heavyweights here.
Damn straight he is. Yeah, he's doing a great job at the moment. The only thing is if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't want to lose the draft to Cal. Obviously, that's going to be a pretty big important factor in terms of obviously either saving fuel or getting a little bit of extra, let's say leverage, in lap speed over him. Because obviously we know how quick he is, Cal that is, in sort of clean air. So that will be the goal. But obviously he's got Brenton behind him, so he's going to have to earn his pay today. That's for sure.
Indeed. In fact, they're all going to have to earn their paycheck tonight. Don't worry about that. 23 laps to go.
Commentary's curse.
Was sideways coming out of one, and that's allowed Brenton Hobson to sneak up on the inside through two, and now he goes out in pursuit of Cal Watmore once more. I don't necessarily think that's bad for Trent.
No, I was going to say the same. That's not exactly a bad thing, to be fair.
No, I think you can save a little bit of fuel behind Hobbo, of course, but more than that, following Hobbo around, you'll learn a thing or two as you try and catch Cal Watmore, and then all of a sudden it's a three-way fight instead of a two-way fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would genuinely sort of stick behind, see how it goes. But this is actually really a really interesting battle because Jackson obviously pitted earlier because of his because of the accident at turn 2 there. So Adam's got a little bit of an advantage by pitting under the safety car. So this is a little bit of tire advantage, let's say. But yeah, so Adam has to make it work if he wants to keep the advantage on the tyres, but Jackson's going to do everything he can to keep him behind. So if Adam uses his tyres, he'll lose the advantage. So it's a bit of a chess match, let's put it that way.
Just getting some good news out of Western Australia, and apparently the borders are going to come down cautiously. They'll transition to a controlled interstate border reopening. So that's good news. The Emperor of WA falling on his sword, falling to peer pressure, and rightly so. 22 laps to go here. I'll get back to the border situation a little bit later on because it's absolute madness and garbage. 22 laps to go. Warwick Sharp in the ARCA class at the moment, sitting 10th. Paul Rogers, the leader there, in 6th outright. Kester Ward sitting 7th at the moment, well positioned within the stock car ranks in as far as the Xfinities are concerned. He's sitting 6th of those cars right now.
Cal's put the hammer down here. He's been saving his tyres, and he said, "See you later, boys."
He certainly has, hasn't he? He's cleared out. He's a second ahead now. Let's have a look firstly out on Lavis. Into turn 2.
Slightly lost the rear, gone wide. There you go.
And Hana loses it through 2. And there goes Adam Lavis through up on the inside. So Lavis to 4th. So the Lavis boys are 3rd and 4th at the moment. Interesting to note, Hobbo's 1.1 behind Watmore, and Hobbo's 0.7 clear of Lavis. So the top 3 separated by 2 seconds at the moment. It's really nice and tight. 9 seconds then back to Adam Lavis, then another 0.9 back to Jackson Rayhana, and then 0.2 back to Paul Rogers, and then 4 down the road to Kester Ward. Kester, you look a little bit lonely there at the moment, judging by what I'm seeing on the timesheets, with Paul Rogers up the road and Paul Jensen down the road. What's the plan of attack?
Yeah, a bit unfortunate on that restart. A few of the guys were too busy trying to get around each other and causing a bit of a roadblock, but now it's just run clean laps and consistent laps, and I'm good on tyre wear, so we'll see what happens later on.
Chris Kisby's got an update for us from race control.
Yeah, Zach, car 386 had contact on car 222, which put him into another car, spun him around, no redress, drive-through penalty, no stop, no service, mate.
That was 386 Josh Thomas on 222 Warwick Sharp. Thank you, Chris. We'll catch up with Chris Kisby a little bit later on in the race. Good to see live race control able to adjudicate on decisions like that fairly instantly. Dennis, I like that about the club and the fact that we're able to adjudicate on these things as they happen rather than post-race. I think everyone would prefer to know the result when they finish the race rather than having it altered after the fact. Nick is finally in the pit lane, and he's managed to get there at the end of lap 19 or lap 20 in his case. So that's an extraordinary opening run from Nick.
Definitely done a few laps, that's for sure. I'm just sort of having a little bit of a gaze here. He's done a great job so far. I was supposed to say, it'd be interesting to sort of, obviously, missed the pit stop under the safety car. We'll see how she goes.
That's Nick's second pit stop, by the way.
Actually, that's a good point. And it's an interesting one too, Kester. I'm just having a look at live timing. I didn't see the time for the first stop, but the second stop, 44.2 seconds. So I'm wondering whether he's picked up a penalty after the first stop.
Adam's got good
Watch
pace
this
here.
pace, folks. Adam's got tremendous pace. He's doing a great job holding off Paul Rogers at the moment, the 18.
Paul Rogers genuinely needs some recognition for the race that he's racing tonight, mate. He's absolutely smashing it in that ARCA car. Obviously a little bit unfortunate in the pit stop sequence, but yeah, the pace is genuinely there. He's absolutely sort of killing it. Look at the amount of speed he's losing compared to Adam down the straight. So yeah, he's doing a great job.
Indeed.
I've noticed the ARCA cars make a lot of time coming out of that hairpin.
Yeah, probably the less power, less likely to spin the rear wheels or even torture them. So there must be something there as well.
Yeah, I'll be interested. I'll have a chat to Nick about it when he joins us back in the commentary box after the race, but I'm sure there are little subtle advantages for the ARCA cars with the less horsepower, and it might be with regards to how much time you spend on the brake, where you're able to reapply the throttle and those sorts of things as well. Here's an interesting battle. This is Paul Rogers all over the back of Adam Lavis now. This is ARCA car versus stock car. This is the 4th place stock car against the 5th place outright 1st place ARCA car. Kester Ward 6th, Warwick Sharp 7th, Hudson Sinclair, Paul Jansen and Josh Millard make up the top 10. Josh Thomas has just moved up into 11th. Jackson Ray Harner in for his second stop at this point in time.
Just a shout out to Hudson. He was Dylan's number 2 driver for the Willowbank 300, so he's doing a good job getting back on the sim, having some fun.
I was going to say, I knew the name as soon as I saw it. So we've got an off-track excursion here about to be shown to you on the Stone Cold Racing replay, and it's Josh Millard. Uh-oh. Locked it before he got to the corner.
What a
gathered
save.
it up,
No.
and then lost it the second time.
Oh, that was nice. Helped him around.
Ouch. Never pleasant. So we're past half race distance now. Cal Watmore leading from Brenton Hobson, the margin point 8.5 of a second. Brilliant run off the last corner for Paul Rogers. Can he get down on the inside of Adam Lavis? No. Now this is the interesting thing, Dennis. I want to ask you this, because at the moment, Paul's well clear of any of his competition in the Arctic Series. And he's also fighting with a stock car. If you're Paul Rogers, do you want to fight with that that Xfinity car in front of you? Clearly the answer is yes. Down the inside he goes, up into 4th place. No, can't get the job done. He comes out and fighting back on the inside. And then Rogers right around the outside and gets the job done 4th. If you were him, would you want to be fighting for a track position or just worrying on about your class result this early in the race?
Oh, there's no such thing as a class result when the race starts, I feel there. Yeah, it's just sort of, I mean, you see the car in front, you sort of think if I brake a little bit, later, or if I get on the accelerator a bit earlier, or if I'm a little bit more aggressive with my steering, you'll be a little bit quicker. So no, there's no class thing there. He's just driving hard. Any car in front's a car to pass, let's put it that way.
The weird thing about that art car following it is just the way it's set up. It looks like it's crabbing. It's an optical illusion, but it's weird.
Yeah. I was going to say, you had a terrific scrap with him there, Adam. He's unfortunately pulled away from you in the first lap since getting past. There's a crunched up car, the 33 of Josh Millard. You're obviously well positioned at the moment, Adam. Obviously the pit stop helped, but the speed is there for you as well, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, I'm just saving tyres and fuel in this stint, trying to get to like lap 26, 27 to make sure I can get home, and then we can go for a sprint.
Copy that.
Oh, this is dangerous. Oh, good job, Brown. Well done.
Very nice job from Connor Brown to make room there for Cal Watmore to get through, but in doing that, it's allowed Brenton Hobson right up onto the tail of Cal Watmore now. Have a look at this. Lavis sweeps around the outside as well. We've got a three-way fight at the front of the field. What's their critical number? When are they coming in to stop? Has Lavis got enough to go with this pair? Can Hobson find a way by Watmore? Will one of these guys make an uncharacteristic mistake that brings their race unstuck? So many unknown variables here right now. Through the last corner onto the main straight, 16 to go. And just like that, we're 3/5 of the way through the race. 60% distance already covered. Lap 25 in the books. Next time, sorry, lap 25 is what we're circulating right now. 24 in the books. We're on 25. Watmore, Hobson, Lavis, Rogers, Lavis, Ward, Sharp, Sinclair, Jansen, Thomas, Rayhana, and Simpson, the top 12. Dennis, I guess the next question is, how well do you know the motorsport circuit, and how does it stack up for you? How does it rate amongst all the other circuits you've raced on?
It's a bit of a forgotten track, mate, if I'm being honest with you. Sort of, I mean, don't get me wrong, when you've got tracks like, Barcelona and Silverstone and stuff like that, but this track is honestly amazing. You've got the high-flowing, massive, indulation sort of, like you turn 2 severely downhill off camber. That one's a really difficult one. But then also you've got that hairpin, which, you break uphill and then it's a crazy hairpin and then you need to get a good run sort of onto the long straight. So it's ridiculously challenging. We've got Hobbo going into the pits.
He's going for the undercut.
This is massive because this is the end of 16 to go. So 15 to go. He reckons he can get the full 15 to the tank. I wouldn't put it past him, but yeah, as Trent said, this is the undercut right here, right now.
Man, we'll see how it plans out. That's the only thing that we can do. Don't get me wrong, he's a master of strategy, and we saw it in GT3s. We've seen it in this series before. If he thinks he can do it, then I generally don't put it past him.
No, that do I. Watmore continues on. What's his critical number? Trent, when are you coming in? Do you have any idea yet?
This lap's all we got.
Fair enough. So that's going to give you 14 for the last stint, which is about right.
How much
time? 3 seconds is the delta at the moment to the optimum.
That's what I was going to ask. It's sort of how much time do you reckon Hobbo will make up on his clean lap out?
Hopefully he gets a clean pit stop. You keep monitoring that, boys, or?
Yeah, he's out. It was a pretty quick pit. He's all right.
So Cal Watmore, let's have a look at this courtesy of the ocular aerial shots, and Watmore is in now. Watmore and Lavis in this lap. Hobbo on the run home to try and find a way past them. And if he doesn't do it here, it could be curtains.
Well, it depends on if Nick held him back a little bit. That would be another thing to take into consideration.
True.
His job right now is to set the absolute best lap he can on these cold tyres, and obviously with the fresh rubber, that's his one objective.
I reckon Brenton's only taken 2 here.
Oh, he's absolutely nailed it.
Watmore on the outside.
Pretty sure he's
Sorry,
only
Hobson, I should
say.
Watmore coming out of the lane. Hobbo to the lead on the outside.
Good.
What about that from Brenton Hobson? It's about track position. And he's nailed it.
Game on. This is it. I mean, Cal's going to have a lap. Oh. Did they both take 2, you reckon, with Cal as well?
I reckon Cal took 2.
Cal's the entire guy that usually would take 2, but Hobbo definitely took 2. He was in and out of that lane a lot quicker than I was, and I took 4.
Trent, did you take 4?
Oh, Hobbo's locked up there. Good exit.
Now,
great exit by Hobbo.
That's going to be the problem in 16 laps time, or 14 laps time as it is now. Where is Hobbo when it comes to tyres?
Well, here you'll see the minor gain in tow, sort of from Cal, which, don't get me wrong, the man doesn't need it full stop, but he's got it. This is going to be a good show of... Oh. It's pretty even through there, if I may say so. It's very good.
It's very even. But we've seen this before. Cal is the master of this game. So
well, he
he's
knows
just
there's 13 laps to go. He's absolutely analysing Hobbo right now. Is where am I stronger than him? Where is he stronger than me? Where can I make the move? Yeah, it's a lot of things playing through his head at the moment, that's for sure.
He's often just sat there and waited for his time, waited for the opportunity to present itself, and more often than not, it has done so.
Absolutely. Well, we know he's pace setter. He's definitely the pace setter, but let's say for this race, is just from what I've seen, full stop. Hobbo is absolutely doing an absolute smashing job. I don't think he'll make it very easy for Cal. Hobbo is a great defender. I mean, I've had the absolute pleasure of being in races with him behind and, you know, attacking him. He knows where to place the car. He's a very, very smart racer, so it'll be good to see where this goes.
Fastest lap of the race for Brenton Hobson, 1:19.23 last time by. How about that?
Ooh,
what a time to bring the pace to the table.
That's a statement right there. That says, you know, I've got the pace to sort of do that. What can you do? And don't get me wrong, Cal's right there. He's hanging behind him. He's not exactly on his bumper. Well, actually, now he is, if I dare say so. Oh, here we go. He got a better run there. Cal got a great run off that corner.
He's there, but not close enough for one. That's the thing too. Limited overtaking opportunities, and the fact that the main straight is such a short drag.
Oh,
if you're a betting man, Dennis, where does it lie at the moment? Where would your $5 be right now?
Well, I mean, if I was a betting man and sort of, and you know, and making a bet, sort of just watching it, I'd put it on Cal. I mean, there's a little bit of bias in there for me as well, just sort of, you know, thinking the man's an absolute champion. But knowing, obviously, how Brenton races, I don't think he'll make it very easy. I mean, he's been talking about doing the treble for God knows how long now. Every
5
time
weeks.
I jumped in. Yeah, yeah, it's been a while. And I know he's not going to give it to him very easily. So it's... I don't know. It's a tough one. I genuinely, you know, being a betting man, I wouldn't even put a bet on it. That's how I don't know it is.
Sometimes the best bet's the no bet. Yep, exactly. There is Brenton Hobson. There is Cal Watmore. Through the last sequence of corners they'll come.
Cal's definitely applying pressure. He hasn't really showed the nose. He hasn't done anything crazy in terms of, you know, showing an actual sort of active... what's even the word is, you know, showing like an active presence to wanting to pass. But yeah, obviously he's biding his time as the further the laps go. If he can manage to push Hobbo to waste a little bit of tyres, that's his plan. But at the same time, something to take into consideration is sitting behind somebody does raise the tyre temps in the car. So you don't want to sit obviously too close, which can actually lead to a sort of negative result. But yeah, I can see here he's just sort of pressuring him a bit, and look at that, very close.
Indeed he is. This is the moment for Cal Watmore, potentially. There are still 11 laps to go here. Hobbo's 1 lap more. He's got to get 1 lap more out of his tyres and 1 lap more out of his fuel tank than Cal Watmore. That's the difference here.
Well, we just saw through that hairpin there. Hobson used a lot more of that outside curb, whereas Cal, he really straightened up the corner, which in more inexperienced hands like myself, I probably would have lit it up if it was Cal. But obviously, he's got that magic foot. He knows how to just keep maximum traction out of there without spinning the rear wheels, and that does save the tyres, whereas Hobbo's more sliding it over to the outside curb, which sort of, you know, could deter them a little bit more. So yeah, it's very, very, you know, it's a chess game at the moment. We just have to see how it turns out.
10 laps to go. We're at 75% race distance. We're caution free to the end now. Watmore and Hobson have gapped Lavis. But Trent is still a very comfortable third at this point.
Hobbo's missing the apex. There it is. There it is. He's got him.
Up the inside. Nice move from Cal Watmore. It was only a matter of time.
Hobbo's not going to give it up easy, but...
Not at all. Oh, they're side by side down on the run to turn 5, and Hobbo gets the lead back again.
Well done.
Back again. What about that? Now the back straight is upon them. So the battle, the spark, the flame has been ignited, the battle initiated, the contest is on.
Cal was a bit nice there. He left him a lot of room. That's
too generous.
Yeah, it was very, very generous. That must mean that he's got more in the tank. If he was, obviously, if he was a little bit more desperate, he wouldn't have given that much room, which is a sign, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually really amazing just watching this battle, if I'm being honest. They're really, you can sort of look, I can see sort of the mind cranking, if that makes sense, and how they're going around it. I think Cal saved up his tyres more than enough here to get Brenton, if I'm being honest. But Brenton's got that psychological motivation, let's say, to get that treble. So it's going to be a solid battle till the end. There's 9 laps left, which is plenty of time. But he's in that pressure cooker at the moment, Brenton. So it's all up to him.
Oh boy, this is where experience comes to the fore.
Oh, yeah.
Brenton has it in so many other cars. Watmore has it in stock cars. Is this the night that Hobson finally wins one fairly and squarely over Watmore in his own game? Now, I say that because we've seen Hobbo win stock car races before. He took out a couple last season. But it's when trouble has struck the cars around him. Hasn't been in an out-and-out duke out to the checkered flag. That changes tonight.
Well, if we look below, look at the lap times there, there's really not that much difference between the two.
No.
And another great variable is we've got a lapped car coming up, which will be sort of, we hope that everything gets through smoothly. But it's going to be a bit of a tough one for the two, that's for sure.
Oh boy. 8 to go. Got word in my ear that we've got to stay with these two guys. Absolutely we do. No disrespect to anyone else in the field, but this is where the fight is. This is where the contest is won and lost. It's Brenton Hobson and Cal Watmore doing their thing on a Friday night.
Trent's definitely matching these guys for pace. It's just unfortunate that he's not there.
Well, this is right. Unfortunately, it's been a recurring theme this season that we've had 2 or 3 people show the pace, with the exception of course,
Cal's got a better run down here, that's for sure. Yeah, there's a slight speed difference.
Oh, here we go. Yep. What on the outside, Hobbo defending.
I was about to say he's going to be very close because I've just had to fuel save for the last 4 laps, and I reckon I'm going to have 0.3 left, and he...
Well, that's what my number suggested. Yeah, that's what my number suggested at 2.1. Now, at 2. Now, if he's filled his tank, he pitted at the end of lap 15. Sorry, the start of lap 15. Or one or the other. I'm just having a look here. I think, sorry, the end of lap 25, I should say. I'm getting my 10s and my 20s. Yeah, 25. So he had... So Cal had 14 laps to get out of this tank. Hobbo wide!
Oh, he saved it.
Watmore dived up the inside, snuck his nose up, but couldn't get the job done. Now, 41.8 litres to a tank. If you can get 2.1 to a tank, you get 15 laps with 0.3 left over. So if Hobbo's on a full tank, he's home by 0.3 of a litre.
Well, it's actually about 2.14 that we're using at the moment, so it's I've had to fuel save to get
okay, so yeah, it'll be touch and go then. It'll be touch and go very much then.
Hobbo got a great exit out of there. He managed to gap Cal a little bit. That was a really, really good display of sort of car control. He was sliding it all the way over to the curb and just managed to get the power out. That was great.
Oh boy.
I've got to say, the Camry looks great, don't you?
Absolutely, 100%. We're getting a lot of opportunity to see it tonight as well. Now, I apologise, I lost my train of thought there because with this battle igniting again, but it's a case of this is the first time this season where we've had a proper duke out between Hobbo and Watmore. I mean, we had that last week, but not to the level of intensity of this one. This is a whole new level. And Hobbo's got a real fight on his hands.
It's actually really interesting watching them. I genuinely feel like Cal has an advantage under brakes and mid-corner speed, but Hobbo's keeping his exit speed up very, very high. So that's why sort of Cal can't get up sort of alongside him, which is which doing Hobbo great sort of, well, let's say it's benefiting him heaps because Cal can't use that, padded speed in the, well, there you go, sort of. It checks him up a little bit there and then he gets the run out. So yeah, it's all, well, actually maybe not this time. Here we go.
Watmore up on the outside this time, but still Hobbo with his nose in front. Now, remembering Mid-Ohio, we saw Trent Lavis win. Phillip Island, we saw Michael Schreier win. So Watmore hasn't had it all his own way in the absence of Glenn Postlethwaite. Tonight, Hobbo will look to become the 4th different winner of the series. Round they come again onto the main straight. 5 laps to go at Mosport.
Well, we saw the exit there. It was Hobbo was very straight. Cal was on the slide, so that's very much like sort of a showing of what they're both doing. Hobbo, like Cal's trying to get the advantage. Hobbo's trying to keep his exits as straight as possible to get on the power, so he can't get alongside him. So that's where the game is.
Just going to ask JP at this point in time if he can let us know via the earpiece here where these two are on incident points, because that's another telling factor with this contest as well. So we'll find out in just a moment for you what's going on there. 1x for Hobson, but Watmore's on a clean race. So that's interesting because Watmore, we know he's leading the championship, and he'll pick up bonus points if he can keep it clean. Hobbo can only get the bonus points for maybe the fastest lap of the race, which he has at the moment, but he won't get the bonus points for pole because that'll go to Cal. He won't get the bonus points for a clean race. So Watmore doesn't necessarily need to win the race to win the round because he'll get those bonus points that Hobbo won't. That is a telling point as well as far as the championship fight is concerned.
Really interesting also to note, so we've got the lap times down below there. So we've got Trent, he caught up 2/10, and then I suppose let's say it was even lap 32, but then it's been half a second ever since. So Trent must be fuel saving, I feel, and that's I think that's
No,
that's
mate,
really...
I just suck, that's all.
Oh, okay, never mind then. No, you're all right then. Oh, it's all right.
4 laps to go.
The boys are rocket ships, mate. They're killing it.
We're going to be definitely fine on the old time factor here. You just saw on the screen there, we've got 13 minutes up our sleeve in terms of the iRacing window. So 4 laps is going to be plenty.
4.
Hobson and Watmore by G. I'm on the edge of a seat here, Dennis. This is going to be an awesome finish.
Damn straight,
one way or the other.
It's going to be absolutely... It's there or thereabouts. I genuinely feel like Cal has a lot more to offer here. Just needs to get that run onto the back straight like he had the previous lap. See, this lap, not so much. Hobbo's really focusing on that exit there, and rightfully so, because he knows that this is a great passing opportunity, so he's trying to keep it as straight as possible and just sort of get that run out, which is... which, to be honest with you, is proving for him quite fruitful at the moment. He's really keeping out there, and he's also in front before the braking marker, which is a great sort of, let's say, confidence inspirer for him. A little bit of a touch there from Cal.
A little bit of a tap. Robbins racing, as they say in stock car land.
Oh, that's it.
3 laps to go.
He's just he's laying down the Morse code, which is "please let me pass," which is obviously universal.
When will Watmore just lick the stamp and send it? Given that he's on 0x, I don't think he'll be as forceful as he otherwise would have been. I reckon if he wasn't on 0x, he would have already sent it.
Oh, he did.
Where's his shot?
See, that was great defense
talk
from
about
Hobbo.
pressure.
He saw that coming from a mile away, and he braked ultra late, and he genuinely slid the car in through that through turn 3 there because it was in response to the attack. So, yeah, he's reading Cal quite well at the moment. That's I think that's serving him really, really well.
Into turn 5 on the run down the back straight now. Hobson the chance of the clean sweep tonight if he can hold on for the next 2 1/4 laps here. This is extraordinary. The pressure from Watmore is intense and it's immense. And we are loving every second of this. This is one of the best fights we've seen for stock car supremacy this year, but how are they on fuel? So I'm just going to go off that number that Kester gave us a short while ago of 2.14 and times that by 15. 32.1. 32.1. So basically, Hobbo needed to save 0.3 of a litre to make it to the line coughing and spluttering. So he needed to save half a lap probably somewhere in there, or half a litre, so that he had 0.2 up his sleeve when he got across the line. That's how tight this numbers game is at the moment.
If he pulls this off, it'll be a master drive. That's for sure. It's not. I mean, you
It'll
don't
be
get
his
me wrong.
best drive in the stock cars ever.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't. It's very. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure people can imagine it, but it's very difficult to save fuel when a car behind you, like Cal, let's say, is attacking you. And yeah, that's going to be an effort and a half. I'm sure that Cal saved his fuel. He's got the tow. He's got everything like that. He's probably ready to go. But yeah, it's going to be a rough one in the next 2 laps, mate. Let's see how this pans out.
Indeed. On the run down the back straight towards turn 8. When they get to turn 8, they'll flick it left, then through turn 9, and then right back onto the main straight. Brenton Hobson holding on for dear life here at the moment. Cal Watmore tucked in behind, looking for an opportunity to find his way through.
Here we go, Cal.
Looking for an opening and unable to find it. Coming up short. 1 lap to go.
We've got a
white flag in the air.
There's a lot of traffic in front.
There's a reason why we like Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It's because it produces finishes like this. The top 2 drivers in this league going out at Hammer and Tong on a Friday night. What more down the inside? There's a touch between the pair of them.
Oh,
But Hobart holds on for the moment. How, I don't know. Horror still holding on as they run through turn 4 on the run to 5 for the last time.
This is it. This is all the exit here. Cal's running a little bit wide there.
He needs the exit off that corner, turn 5. The run down to 6 is so critical.
He got it, I reckon. He definitely got the run, that's for sure.
Then the kink at 7, then the run to the braking zone at 8. Watmore is right there. Watch Hobbo make this Chevy as wide as he possibly can as lap traffic starts to play its part here. Watmore can't find a way through. Into turn 8 for the last time. Brenton Hobson. This is the ultimate masterclass, and finally he's going to beat Cal Watmore fair and square. Last time, checkered flag, run to the line. Watmore and Hobson.
Oh no, he's out of fuel. He's out of fuel.
Watmore and Hobson came together in the run to the line, and Hobson has been thrown over the line, doing a 180 and a 360. That is phenomenal stuff. Have a look at this.
Oh no. That was
This was the run through turn 8, Dennis. He ran out of fuel before he got to turn 10. We know that. So this is the entire last lap you're going to see now.
Absolutely wow. That is great job. Wow.
I'll come back to the finishing order in just a moment. Just appreciate the intensity of this last lap one more time. Now to turn 5 on the run down the back straight. There's 6. The kink at 7. The run down to the braking zone at 8. This is next level brilliance. Watmore had a chance there at 8. Hobbo defended the line. He made that Chevy as wide as he possibly could. Through they went. 9. Then the braking zone into 10. And you're right, he ran out of fuel about
right there,
I'd say.
There. Yes, and then that's where he targeted.
And there's Watmore pushing him to the line and turned him. And that's definitely not Watmore's fault. It's just he's run out of fuel. And
that was predicted
the end,
by Hobbo. I'll tell you right now, that was predicted, and that's why the man's an absolute champion, right there.
and in the end, Watmore he's gone out over the line sideways, spinning it round and round and round. 183, 65, 40, might have even got a 720 out of all of that. Brenton Hobson has his first win of the Stockcar Series. We have our 4th different winner in 6 rounds. Brenton Hobson by 0.56 of a second from Cal Watmore. Trent Lavis held on for 3rd. Paul Rogers, Adam Lavis, then Warwick Sharp, Kester Ward, Hudson Sinclair, Josh Thomas, and then John Simpson made up the top 10 there. Paul Jansen was 11th. Then we go back to Jackson Ray Harner, Nico Pop, Sean Rees, Josh Millard, and Julian Muckey. Then we go back to Connor Brown, Dylan Gray, Chris Kisby, and Jaden Russell, but we know that Jaden Russell was an early retirement and Chris Kisby didn't start because he was in race control. So that's your stock car field on a Friday night in a race the likes of which you're never likely to see again. This is the thing. We've said it so often before. Hobbo took 2 wins in the stock cars last series, I should say, but it was on occasions where both Postlethwaite and Watmore had struck trouble on their own accord. That was an out-and-out Duke all the way to the finish line. I like that, JP, by the way. Just look at that bottom line there, folks. Commentators, the Skid Control commentary team. Excellent. I like that. That covers
Where's the
Trent,
boss man
Adam,
when you need him?
Dennis, everyone. Fantastic. Yes. And that was the first time that Hobbo had held off Cal in an out-and-out duke all the way to the line. Cal had every opportunity in the world, couldn't find a way through. And in the end, now we've got Brenton Hobson on track for the clean sweep on a Friday night. Just incredible.
Oh, damn straight it is. That was an absolutely amazing race. Sort of from the first, let's say, the safety car, because then obviously we knew from then it was going to be a, like a sprint to the finish. Let's say, even though there was a pit stop involved. Hobbo took advantage of that. He got in early. He got that undercut done. Obviously, the fresher tyres helped him get that position over Cal, but also to number one, save fuel. Even though he was in front of Cal. Number two, to obviously keep him behind the entire time. That was a pressure cooker. Cal's not an easy person to keep behind. He looks for his opportunities well. He's an absolute great offensive driver. And then number three, on top of that, let's say, obviously that run to the finish where he kind of, I'm genuinely convinced he predicted that end. So it's, absolutely master drive, that's for sure.
Well, we'll definitely ask him about it at the end of the race. No doubt about that. It's getting hang on. We're getting some drivers in here to the broadcast booth now to have a chat post-race here. We've got someone by the name of Orange Lizard. Now, I'm hoping that's a nickname. Explain yourself,
Mr.
please.
Hudson.
That's Hudson. He's a very private person.
Hudson Sinclair, ladies and gentlemen, is in the booth with us in the Skid Control broadcast booth, as we'll call it now, as JP has correctly labelled it. We're going to get some highlights here. We'll have a chat to Cal Watmore very shortly. I'm sure we'll have a chat to Brenton Hobson after the supercar race as well. Take a breath, folks. That was phenomenal stuff. Just going back over the ARCA results, Paul Rogers was the winner in fourth outright, Warwick Sharp second, sixth outright, then Hudson Sinclair, Josh Thomas and John Simpson. That explains why Hudson and Josh have jumped in to have a chat to us. Let's do that now. Hudson, how are you finding these ARCA cars?
Mate, really, really good. Thanks to Paul and Trent and Adam and all the other Skid Control boys for getting me in. I got the car a couple of hours ago and, absolutely loved it. Kester twisted my arm and it was a really good race. The racing was actually pretty good too, I have to say.
When we get to the end of this replay, JP, I just want to see if Hobbo was still sideways as he went across the line, whether he was backwards or sideways and not front on, because I've just got that. I had that feeling that he was 180 by the time he crossed the line and 360 after the line, just to explain how close it was at the front. 40 laps, out and out fight all the way to the end, and mate, a lap down, sure. How hard was it to keep out of the way of the two leaders as they were coming through there on that last lap?
That was a sneaky Paul Jansen tactic. I was a lap short on fuel, and the leaders were just behind. So he gave me the inside tip just to roll off and let the leaders past, and survived.
Very nicely done. And in the process, you held off Josh Thomas as well, mate.
Yeah, it was a good battle again, all around. As I said, this my first race in the series this season, and all the boys raced really, really well for what I saw. It was really nice.
All right. Thoughts on the next round of the championship, mate? Because it's the Sonoma Cup circuit next week.
Too many past questions. I haven't even thought about that, but I'm sure the boys will drag me into it as well.
All right. Your teammates can now mark you on how you've handled your first post-race interview. Trent Lavis, how do you reckon he went?
I'll give him a 3 out of 10.
Sorry, I asked.
Yeah.
Hudson, stick there, mate. Enjoy the rest of the chat here, and then obviously we'll, if we've got time, we'll come back to you for another question. Cal Watmore, how close can you get? I'll come back to Josh Thomas and also to Paul Jansen in just a moment, but how close can you get there? You and Brenton Hobson hammer and tong in one of the best fights we've seen, not just this season, but this year. And Hobbo finally wins a proper fight against you in a stock car. He'll no doubt be delighted, and you'll no doubt be disappointed with all of that, and the fact that your clean race probably got brought undone in that last corner as well.
Oh my God, I'm kicking myself for that one. I'm not thinking of the big picture at all. And the big picture was that Hobbo pitted a lap early, and we were watching, my fuel had Paul Williamson crew chiefing tonight, and we knew that we were safe by a bit under a lap. So Hobbo, was putting the mega pressure on him to make him burn that fuel. So we were one lap better than him. And there you go. The last corner, he runs out, and I didn't think of this, and I just didn't want to run him over. So I could have just moved over and drove past him, but I didn't think of that. I'm kicking myself.
Mate, that being said, you continue your podium run. You've been on the podium every week since we were at Mid-Ohio. That was the only laps for you so far this season. So the championship's still very much within reach. This circuit, though, Motorsport, I mean, for a member vote, could you have picked any better?
Mate, it's a pretty excellent track. I've got a good around here, and credit to Hobbo for the brave strat that worked out. He got the undercut, pulled it off perfectly, and then to drive that well and only just run out of fuel. Great drive and well earned by him, and sorry for ruining our clean race up to that.
He had 1X before that, so don't worry too much about that. You only ruined your clean race. But was it a case of he coughed and spluttered in front of you there on the run to the line?
Yeah, that's right. I planned to do the over-under crossover because I was a little quicker on the apexes with my one lap better tyres. But he coughed and spluttered just as I was going for the crossover across his bumper and half turned in him. And I'm not gonna spin him out and drive to the line like that. So I just shoved him along a bit and then ended up turning him anyway. But luckily he wobbled over the line before I did. So the right man won on the day.
Nico Pop, just to give you an indication as you rejoin us in the commentary booth, all those thrilling truck finishes you sent us through on a YouTube clip earlier in the week? Pretty much exactly the same.
Okay, I can't wait to watch it back.
Oh, mate, you'll enjoy the last lap there. And as we said, I'm not sure which direction Brenton was pointing when he actually crossed the finish line there. But Cal, well done, mate. Second place in all of that. Stay with me. I'll come back to you if we get time. Just confirming with Director and Nick, we are doing the development split for the V8s tonight, are we not?
I believe so.
Yep, so let me just load into that. I'm already loading in so that we can start talking about that very shortly. And if you are just joining us, that is just leg 2 of the triple header. Done and dusted. And we now sit here anxiously waiting to see if Brenton Hobson can complete the treble because we're not bringing the top split to you tonight. He'll be kicking us that we're not showing that potentially historic moment.
He's on pole by 10th.
Yep.
But we'll keep an eye on his Twitch feed all the same. Hey, let's throw the conversation around. Paul Jansen, I believe it was 11th you finished tonight, mate. Well done.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good race. I'd never seen this track before, and there was a steep learning curve. But by the end of it, I was pretty happy with it. I had someone hit me from behind on the last few laps, but I think I only dropped 2 places, so it wasn't too bad. And he still pretty much let me go in front of him. So it all worked out in the end, apart from Nick was probably struggling a bit in the last couple of laps by the look of it.
Well, when Zach throws to me, I'll tell you what happened.
All right, we'll get to you in just a moment, Nick. Paul, stay there. And Josh Thomas, I believe you're in the chat room as well, mate. I can't see my Discord screen at the moment because we're loading in between servers. But just quickly update us on what was a great run for you in the ARCA series, the top 5 finish in the ARCA cars.
Hang on, I've got a corner. Sorry. Right. I should have been better. I just tapped... Rorex, I got drive through for that, which is fair enough. And then I was 2 laps short on fuel, so I had to pit again. I shouldn't needed to. So, but yeah, fourth is good. I think I got fastest lap in the ARCA car race, the ARCA car class. I don't know if I get extra points for fastest lap in class, or is it only fastest lap overall?
In class.
In class.
There you go.
Yep. So well done. Very nicely played. Nick, was it 13th in the end?
I'm sorry. 13th overall, and what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8th in class. I think it was.
Now, talk to us because there were 2 pit stops there, very close to one another. Did you cop a penalty of some description?
Yeah, I got a heavy right foot, so I sped on the exit of pit lane, and that was that. That's all she wrote. 40 seconds added onto my race.
Unfortunate, and but in the end though, a good race. You even led a couple of laps there. You went longer on the first stint as you usually do. That shortened up the second and the third stint. Obviously, that made it a little bit easier fuel wise compared to what we're hearing from the front of the field.
Well, yeah, the front three weren't turning into dots real quick smart, so I was like, I might be able to at least stick with these guys. So I was quite happy with the pace of the Bailey Ladders Mustang, and I thought, well, okay, they've got a couple lap cars in between us. So they're going to pit, no doubt. So bugger it, I'll just go and lead some laps. What the hell?
Why not?
So yeah, and then obviously having a pit lane that was free of cars makes it a lot easier too. So I don't miss my pit box and do a bit of an Austin Powers. Got my drive through, and then I was on the back foot for most of that, and I was up to 0 incidents, and then I decided to go from 4th gear at the end of the back straight to 1st instead of 3rd. And luckily I had my foot on the clutch. I stuck it in quick enough and kept it all back, but that was the end of my clean race to that point. Paul and Jackson got through, got Jackson back, and then I was closing in on Paul, and miscalculated the speed into the two tight right-handers, and back to 8th I went. Back to 13th, sorry.
We've got about 9 minutes before the end of qualifying for the Development Series race, and we'll get to that for you very shortly. But first, let's throw the conversation around here. Trent Lavis, 3rd. Is that a pass mark as far as you're concerned?
Oh yeah, definitely. When you're racing against those boys, it's definitely a pass mark. I do have to apologise to Nick there mid race, coming around the last left-hander there. I went to go to the right of him, and he managed to park it in front of me, and I just gave him a little touch.
I was pulling to the left, but that's all right.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't
0
mean to
incidents. It was
0x. It didn't even damage the front of my car, but I do apologise for giving you a little nudge there. But the racing with these boys, like, I remember that restart when we were hustling, me, Cobbo, Cal, and carving through the field there. That was a heck of a lot of fun, and kudos to the guys that stayed out on the crappy tyres to hold us off for as long as they did. That was a lot of fun and very, very cool.
I think we were all a little bit surprised with how early the first caution was. Well, the first and only caution was thrown on lap 9, and so that was the random lucky prize draw this week, unfortunately. But it certainly made for an interesting race from there. Kester Ward, your thoughts on all of that, and just a quick summary of your night?
Yeah, that was good fun. It was actually fun to have Nick filling my mirrors for a couple of laps, even though he was a lap down. It's always good to have a battle with him, but all in all, top 5 I think I got, which I'm happy with.
And Adam Lavis, your thoughts, because that was a fairly good, promising run from you.
Yeah, I kind of got caught out with the grid thing. I didn't get a good quality lap in, but I thought, oh well, there's only 8 of us here. I'll be still with them. And then we get to the grid, and I'm like, there's about 12 ARCA cars ahead of me. Oh, no. So
yeah, I didn't click an option. I apologise.
So yeah, the first thing I had to save fuel and get through those guys. So that was a bit of fun. And then then I had the great pit stop because everyone decided to Austin Powers their pit stops, and me and Jansen were the only ones that actually did it clean. So we made some time there. And then it was I saved a bit of fuel in that last stint. And I think I only lost probably, I think it was only like 7 or 8 seconds to Trent in that last stint. So that's not bad for me. So.
I was going to say, Trent, that last stint just wasn't to be for you. You had the chance to go with Cal and Brenton, but in the end, you consolidated 3rd place, mate.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't have the pace of those front boys. About 2/10 a lap, and then I decided to sort of back it off a bit because I had 0x. So I thought I backed it off the speed, just reduced the risk a little bit, and they drove away about half a second a lap after that. And I decided I want to leave a little bit of field and have a bit of drifting fun, but I kind of buggered it up anyway. So it did give me when I crossed the line. When I started drifting it around, I hit the wall on the inside and gave me 2x because the last car hadn't crossed the line yet. But I crossed the line with 0x, so I'm pretty happy with that. Which should actually put me up there on points, hopefully. So should be good.
Exactly right, and of course, Cal Watmore will pick up some nice points out of all that as well with pole position. Despite not having the race win, Hobbo will get the race win. Hobbo will get the fastest lap. No bonus incident points for the pair of them, but still, it's Watmore leading the way at the top of the championship. Paul Jensen, you were in the thick of it there as a stock car with all the ARCA cars. How'd you find that?
Yeah, they were racing really good. I decided to jump back up into the big car, big boy's car.
Yep.
And yeah, I really enjoyed it again. I'm actually really impressed with how much more grip they've got with the new tire update. So I'll definitely stick with that car. But yeah, it was good fun.
Hudson, we'll come to you now. I mean, obviously, it's a tough initiation on a Friday night in either the ARC or the Xfinity car, but we know you've had the real-world experience of the Willowbank 300 this month. It's been a busy month. What are you enjoying most, SimWorld, real-world, and looking at the Xfinity cars after running the ARC car? Are you thinking maybe you'll have to test yourself in a couple of weeks' time when you're eligible to have a run in the Xfinity?
Mate, you can't go past real world, Dylan and the GTR. But the Sims are a lot more better on the bank balance, shall we say, on the hip pockets.
Exactly right, 100%.
And they take fuel.
All right, too soon, Kester.
Let's not start that.
Come on, Kester. Can you lot keep your banter for your own post-mortems, please? Very nice. Nick, obviously a very popular choice, motorsport, but now next week we turn our attention to Sonoma.
Yeah, American legs to finish it off. Very tight track, very hard to pass, but that one passing zone in that very last hairpin there, so it should be a good event. Tonight, the ARCA cars were not that much slower, if at all, compared to the Xfinity cars. So I've been trying to hamstring them with a little bit of fuel, trying to make it even, but then once again, they're burning less fuel anyway. So the cars are pretty close. Considering they've got 100 horsepower less, they're a bit better on tyres, a bit better for the newbie drivers too. So good on them.
Absolutely, Carl Watmore. We now move into your wheelhouse of sorts. We've got all the NASCAR road courses coming up. We've got Sonoma, the Glen, Charlotte Roval, which is where Hobbo got up on both you and Glenn Postlethwaite in the last series. And then, of course, we go to the Daytona road course.
Oh, well, yeah, they're becoming pretty familiar now, but these next two will be pretty cool. Sonoma especially be the favourite of the bunch. So, yeah, hopefully a good week next week.
Where do we get it? Where for you now is the critical point of this championship? Now you've got 3 wins, 5 podium finishes. The championship lead is yours. We know that. It's comfortable. Where's the critical point now in terms of cementing this title?
I honestly haven't thought about it that much. I guess just keep finishing races is a good start. I'm in a strong position, so just keep doing what I'm doing and don't do anything silly.
Rightio, mate. Well done again tonight. Brilliant performance. Brenton Hobson on track for the clean sweep in the top tier of the supercars. We'll update you on how he goes in about 45 minutes' time. In the meantime, we're about to turn our attention to the development series. So, Adam Lavis, thank you to you. Cal Watmore as well. Well done also to Josh Thomas, Kester Ward. I think Kester's going to stick with us with the supercars. We'll get some in-race updates from him. Trent Lavis, are you going to stick around for commentary?
I might go get some spicy cola and a feed and see how I go. I might poke back in halfway through.
Let's do that. Nick's going to stay with me. Hudson Sinclair. Paul Nichols is somehow still in Discord, but we haven't heard from him for about an hour and a half, so forget about that. Hudson Sinclair, thank you to you. And Paul Jensen, looking forward to next week.
Definitely. Thanks very much, Zach.
Good on you guys. Thank you very much. And Dennis Gaderick, your final thoughts on all of that. It was great to have you sharing the mic with me for that broadcast. That's a race that we won't forget in a hurry.
Absolutely, bud. It's been a great race, mate. It's something that we've come to expect of stock cars, let's put it that way. But yeah, man, I apologise. I'm kind of just concentrating on the main split at the moment. Hobbo's absolutely gutting us.
Well, are you really surprised by that?
No, but my ego says yes.
Exactly. Well, update us on how the top split goes throughout the night. We're looking forward to that.
Damn straight I will.
And of course, we'll check in with you and Hobbo after the race. Nick, let's turn our attention here to the second split. This is our opportunity to talk about the guys that aren't in the top split as far as the Supercar Series are concerned. We have this situation for the Porsches on a Wednesday night and also the GTs on a Monday night as well. It's such a brilliant series. It's so well received for Stone Cold Racing. The fact that we have to have 2 splits And more often than not in the recent weeks, the second split has been more popular than the top split.
Yeah, I'm looking now. There's 29 registered people in the split. I don't know how many in the top split, but hey, look, good on them. It's the homegrown stuff. It's fast. It's furious. Even though it's around this track where we're watching people hit the walls.
Yes, right on cue.
Yeah, exactly. The love for the V8 supercar in Australia is high.
Indeed it is. So we're counting down here. Qualifying checkered flag is out, which gives us an opportunity to update you on the championship standings. So to give you an indication, folks, obviously this is the second split, so these are not the normal blokes that you're used to on a Friday night in our main course, or our dessert as we like to call it here. But still some names that you will be familiar with. Tony De Rossi is the points leader at this point on 101, 1 point clear of Chris Anderson. Joe Baldwin, 85, Reece Belitho, 73. I'll skip past Nathaniel Werber, Paul Rogers, and Dennis Gaderick because they've all been bumped up. So Daniel Birchnell's next on 64, 56 for Alan Archer, 55 for Chris Polly, 54 for Stephen Kennedy, and then Reece Fitzgerald on 49 and Craig Hopkins on 46 points. So Tony De Rossi's the man to beat at the moment here. But having a look at the results of qualifying, it's Jeff Connell who's in the split. Big fish, small pond on a Friday night. Jeff Connell from Aaron Cooper in qualifying here. Anthony Visma, then Trucker Joe Baldwin, Daniel Birchnell, Tony De Rossi, Reece Fitzgerald, James Catchpole, Glenn Cedar Riddell, and CJ Thompson. Matt Whitaker, Stephen Kennedy, Chris Polly, Lee Williamson, and David Riddell are top 15. 29 in the server have set a qualifying time, with 3 having not set a qualifying time. Josh Fora, Daniel Asian, Connor Brown. Info, 3.78 kilometre course, 14 turns. The fuel limit tank capacity to 65%. Interesting to note, the weather set to the 30th of October 2020. Don't worry about that. 20 past 3 in the afternoon track time. 25 degrees, partly cloudy. Track temp 27. The winds, however, very strong at 20 kilometres an hour going to the southeast. The race will be 45 minutes long. The pit lane speed, 64 kilometres an hour. The pace car speed should be needed at 72 kilometres an hour. Probability of a safety car on this track, high, exceptionally high.
99%.
Given that we've got 30 of these cars to try and squeeze through the first few corners, very high. Incidents, 20x, and then every 5x after that, 1 fast repair as well. So we'll have a look at the grid for you in just a moment. There's the, there's the smoke-coloured water firing out of the cannon there at the moment. Have a look at that. As the cars get ready on the grid now. So let's just have a look at this grid just to confirm it for you. Jeff Connell and Aaron Cooper, then Anthony Visma and Trucker Joe Baldwin. Then we go back to Daniel Birchnell and Tony De Rossi, Reece Fitzgerald and James Catchpole. Glenn Cedar Riddell and CJ Thompson from row 5, Matt Whitaker and Stephen Kennedy from row 6. Row 7, Chris Polly and Lee Williamson. Row 8, David Riddell and Stephen Birchnell. Row 9, Max Losh and the 18th place car there. I apologise. There's no surname there. The 18th place car is, of course, Anthony Cuthbertson. Then we go back to Frank Hodak and David Johnson, Andrew Fenn and Reece Belitho share the 11th row. Craig Hopkins and Dylan Gray the 12th. 13th row, Justin King and Kim Fora. 14th row, Peter McMurdo and also Marty Hughes. 15th row, Kevin Krause and Connor Brown, with Josh Fora and Daniel Aish, along with Connor Brown not setting a qualifying time there. Thoughts on this race, Nick? It's a bit hard to know considering we haven't seen this server all year.
Keep out of trouble. Keep off the walls. Watch out for crashes. You got to really race heads up here. Here we go.
Getting set for a start. The third and final leg of what should be remembered as a very entertaining night of Friday Night Motorsport, perhaps one of our best of the year. Jeff Connell and Aaron Cooper to share the front row. The championship leader from the third row here. We've got Dennis Gaderick standing by for some in-race comments from the top split. We've got Nico Pop joining Duck Caban in the commentary box, and Chris Kisby's back with us now as well, getting set for a start here. Racing now. trouble off the line. Already. That didn't take long. Carnage in Detroit. Cars getting smashed from pillar to post. Oh, and still going on at turn 1. Have a look at this on replay, Nick. This was to be expected, but maybe not this early.
No, that green car did not get off the line, and that's just screwed it up for everybody else. Wow, hold the brakes, guys. Eesh.
5, 6, 7,
What
8,
a
9,
car.
10 cars involved. I wonder who's in race control for this race and why there wasn't a yellow flag wave there. I'm really surprised by all of that. Jeff Connell leads, however. He's under immense pressure from Aaron Cooper off the start here. Got Joe Baldwin sitting by in the green room as well, so we might get the truck of Joe Baldwin very shortly. Nick might just pop up and see if he's wanting to come into the broadcast booth or whether he's wanting to stay there for his own peace and quiet. Jeff Connell leads from Aaron Cooper. Anthony Visma, I'd say so at this point in time. I couldn't blame him either. The madness of that opening 3 or 4 corners. We start to settle ourselves down now. They did very well not to have the base car thrown on them. Yes. Oh, more trouble. Oh, no. On board with Chris Polly. He's been turned around. Cars everywhere. That's in the back section of the lap. That's turn 12. And we have got Joe Baldwin standing by for some comments.
Crash. Last hit.
And that's been the theme of the opening lap, Nick. That's about the 4th crash we've seen. That was on replay. Back there in turn 12. We go on board now with Stephen Kennedy. And Joe Baldwin, I'm just having a look down through the order. You've unfortunately been caught up in all of that carnage there on the opening lap. Sitting down in 24th place, mate. Not the start you would have liked for. Oh. So that was you that stalled on the... Okay, I gotcha. Oh, dear. So fast repair on the horizon now, mate. Stick around as well, folks. Post-race, we'll have a chat with all the drivers from the top split as well as the winners from the second split here, the development series. We'll also have the updated championship points from the production car series and the stock car series. Adam Lavis has sent that information through to us already. There into the pit lane comes Max Losh. We go back to Jeff Connell, who's leading this race at the moment and doing a nice job of it out in front from Aaron Cooper. We're on lap 3 in the streets of Detroit, Michigan. 3 minutes, 7 seconds last time by the line and already a lead of over 2 seconds for Jeff Connell. So he's about to complete lap 3. We're racing along quite nicely here. And I'm just trying to work out where we're going to be lap-wise. Probably 29, 30 laps in the on the horizon here. Pending a safety car. And Nick, to be honest, I'm surprised it wasn't chucked straight away.
Yeah, it looks... It depends on who's running... Well, but sometimes
Glenn Adele has gone round.
You know,
I think that was who you just saw there at the bottom of your screen.
Big thing with safety cars is chops into time. So you know, depending on who's running the show, they might want to let it run a bit more freely. It's kind of how I want to do it. Let the animals sort themselves out. Rear brakes, guarantee. Rear brakes. There it is.
Bang. Oh.
It's just nowhere to hide here. This place will penalise your mistakes big time.
Matt Whitaker and also Kevin James Krause have ejected themselves from the server. Connor Brown as well. So already a few retirements here. Gonzalo Riddell it's interesting because I would have thought that Riddell was in the top split a couple of weeks ago, if memory serves. So he's obviously sitting down here in the second split for some reason.
Could be in the wrong split. Car going into the pits. Just a quick update. Lap 4 in the top split. Brenton Hobson leading by 4.5 seconds.
I don't think there is any race control at the moment.
No, what's the penalty for sitting in the wrong split, Nick? Just out of curiosity.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. You'll have to talk to Adam. He's gone to bed now, but I believe half points.
Okay.
If I am correct.
Copy that. I might be getting my servers mixed up as well. We cover 7 championships and there's 2 servers in 3 of those, so there's 10 splits that we're trying to keep our eyes across. I could have the wrong one, but it seemed weird that he was sitting in the second split. So 39 minutes left in this race. Jeff Connell, the leader, Aaron Cooper, Anthony Visma, the next 2 through. And we're currently riding with Frank Hodak down in 15th place. Sorry, Chris?
I said I did recognise Joe's Milo car there, but I didn't want to embarrass him on live stream.
Good to have Joe Baldwin on board, of course, chiming in from over there in the west. He kept it together for us at least. He didn't keep the car together. We're going to have a replay in a moment of Joe Baldwin coming unstuck, but at least you didn't swear on us. Nicely done, Joe. As you do. Oh dear, what pressure, what drama here in the early stages. So Connell, Cooper, Visma. Then De Rossi and Catchpole. Connell out and comfortable. We're riding with Frank Kodak in 14th. But that's the thing, isn't it, Joe? And we've seen it so many times tonight, and I'll get Nick to come in here as well. We've seen it so many times tonight. The fact of the matter is, waggle from Hodak there. When it is a concrete canyon like this, and cars don't just fire into the wall and blend in, they bounce back straight off there. So instantly you've got more obstacles to deal with as soon as one of the cars immediately in front of you comes unstuck, and that adds to the challenges of street racing, Joe.
I think we should retire Joe from talking.
I think so.
On that note, I was going to say, I think we should have actually taken it on board there with Joe's car to live through the drama with him. But hey, Nick, this is the thing though, right? These cars, they bounce well. They bounce off the wall straight back into the racing line.
Yeah. There's nowhere to hide. Right. There's nowhere to hide at all. So, yeah, as a consequence, you're just going to bounce back into everybody.
And you're dead right, mate. I would have thrown that yellow so fast it wouldn't have been funny.
Exactly. So we've obviously not got race control for the bottom splits. So you're going to get a green flag run. Oh, okay. Righto. It's just that they've obviously not thrown the yellow there on that opening lap, which, as Chris said, would have been thrown instantly had it been any of us. So yeah, it's an interesting scenario. And this is the thing though, right, Nick? We've got a lot of great people behind the scenes here that step up to the plate and take on race control duties at the expense of, maybe their own racing experience. But everyone does it their own way. So you don't necessarily have that continuity from official to official. If one official thinks that should be a caution, whereas another might say, nah, fair game, play on, let's let these guys sort their rubbish out on the circuit without the interference of the officials upstairs.
Well, 100%. I mean, that's the same in real life stuff. Different tracks for V8 supercars, different continents, different countries for Formula One. But as I've tried to endeavour to do for the stock cars, get the same person all the time. So it's a familiar voice. You know what they're like. They're not going to take any crap. This is the rules. This is how it's done. And he's laughing now. But that familiarity will at least make it when you know you're in this particular server. This is the way it's done.
34.5 minutes to go, so we're already quarter of the way through this race. It goes nice and quick, doesn't it, folks?
Is Josh Forer racing?
No.
Kim Forer is. I don't know if Josh is. So Josh Forer might be race control.
Yeah, he did put in to go into race control, but I tried to talk to him, and I just assumed that he was going to take it on, but it looks like he may not have.
Okay.
I know he's in there, but I don't know whether he's going or not. I was going to stay there, but... okay, yep.
Okay. Dennis Gaderick, let me check in with you and get an update from the top split. How are you faring, please?
Currently P4 attacking P3. Hobbo and Dave Trevathan have just essentially driven away. Yeah, they've checked out some mega. I dropped 2 spots off the start. Still need to figure out what these standing starts are all about.
Yes.
I don't know what this is. I don't know.
Club to go, and you go.
I don't know who invented standing starts, but idiot. But yeah, no. So yeah, I've fought my way back up to 5th, got it to 4th, and now I'm attacking for 3rd. I didn't exactly have the best quali lap, to be fair with you. I do believe I've got a bit of pace, but yeah, those other guys, the top 2, they've driven away. Top 3, here we go.
Keep at it, man.
Standing starts not necessarily Dennis Gaderick's cup of tea or forte, but Nick, that's the thing. I love the intensity of a standing start because you can see someone blast up the outside from 6th to 3rd by turn 1, and consequently you can see someone fall right to the end of the pack because they stuff it completely. But a rolling start, you just don't get as much intensity in that regard.
Don't get intensity, but I mean, I think it's a little fairer. You qualified in a little safer, little fairer. You've qualified in a position. The only real chance to lose it is if you lose a position is if you fluff the start or not see what's going on. Whereas a standing start, the pressure's on. Like you said, the intensity's up. You got to get the clutch biting point right. In these cars, you got a bit of a handbrake that you can ride it against. You don't want to jump the start, all that kind of thing. Whereas in a rolling start, really the only thing is don't pass the row in front and cross the start-finish line in order. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, just on that. Yeah, it's something I've noticed with the standing starts.
Car
round.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Keep going, Chris.
Okay. Yeah. I have a dual clutch on mine with the standing starts, and I set it up so that I go, and a lot of the time I just roll off and I watch everybody sit there and burn their rubber. But in race control with the rolling starts, what I've noticed is that the pack sort of stretches right out. Now, Nichols attests to this. I've actually started telling the guys to close the gap before the pace car gets in there, because I do believe that it is unfair for the guys at the back if they're stretching it out. And so I've made them start to close that gap up and form up nice and early.
That's it. You just got to coach them. We're getting better at it. I was what, row 3, so I got to see that row 4. I got to see we closed it up.
Yes, you closed it up well tonight. Whereas last week, the week before, it wasn't, and a couple of the other series they weren't. So I've started coming in. Friday nights, I've cleared my race calendar now. I was racing in this second split, but I was going to focus on in here for the V8s and race control for the other 2. So it looks like I might have to do race control for the whole 3.
Just take control. Friday nights is Kisby's.
Yeah, why not?
Don't
Why
mess
not?
with Kisby.
Are they learning not to?
Wield that axe, man. Did a really good job in the stock car, by the way.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Home, though. Chris did the race control for stock cars. Told us how it was. This is how it's going. Did the best he could with the information that he had for the reviews. Told us where accidents were, if there was because there's a lot of blind corners around Mosport.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey,
I just
Joe
tried to warn
Baldwin.
the guys that, you know,
You're right,
go
Chris.
for it.
I was going to come back to you, Joe, and say, how do you feel about the fact that you're no longer going to be, as of November 14, cut off from the rest of the country, mate? Some of us are going to be allowed to come west if we wish.
Oh, good one.
And rightly so. I know a lot of us are... See, about time common sense prevailed. Unfortunately, here it's only one day out from the election, but still better than nothing. But border politics is starting to be put to the back burner, which is about time as well. So, for once, we'll say well done to the pollies. But don't forget, Queensland, tomorrow, flush that mob. And then pick up some Drano on your way home. Right. Let's get... Oh, dictators and real heartless pieces of gear. Yeah, exactly. And Emperor's over there in Western Australia. But that's all right. The Emperor is somewhat mellowed a little bit today, which is good news. I've only just been reading that news whilst we've been sitting here broadcasting this race. Kim Forrest just had a spin. So we might pick that up on replay for you. 28 minutes and 35 seconds left in the race here on the streets of Belle Isle. Detroit, Michigan, playing host to round 6 of the Stockcar Racing Supercar Series. This is, of course, split 2 for you on a Friday night. The dessert after we had... There's that spin for 4. After a cracker of a production car race here was the entree. NASCAR, or stock cars in our case, from Motorsport threw up a tremendous main course at long last. And now we're finishing off with some homegrown supercar stuff. 28 minutes to go. Obviously, it'd be remiss of me on the subject. Joe mentioned South Australia there, not to get a comment from everyone about the thoughts of the decision of the South Australian government. Can you really blame COVID for the demise of Clipsal, or Superloop as it's now known, Nick?
Oh, look. A lot of factors in that. I don't think the government is the number one to blame in that particular one. I think they're the ones that had to make the call, but I got a feel. My feeling is the governing body of the motoring sport that partakes there has probably the biggest responsibility for that. So that's my opinion on that. The government were just really, now look, we're not getting any support. This is going down. Wasn't that bad, to be quite honest. It's going downhill, but yeah, my opinion is the money grabbers that run that particular series of ex-taxis, they're the ones that we need to lay the blame at for this event going by the wayside. And don't be surprised if Surfers Paradise goes as well.
Well, that's exactly right. As far as I'm concerned, yesterday was the day that South Australia woke up to the fact that the world, as far as motorsport is concerned, doesn't revolve around supercars. So I wasn't necessarily disappointed in all of that. And what's been the funniest in all of it, I mean, it's never a good situation when a motorsport event drops off, but I've always been in favour of investing in proper motorsport facilities, and we haven't done enough of that because we've been investing in street races and all that sort of stuff. And I understand there's a lot of glitz and glamour and entertainment factors revolving around all of that, and they allegedly draw the big crowds, although as you just heard, they're declining in Adelaide. But I've always been for the proper facilities, and I don't think we spend enough time investing in them. Oh, a little bit of a waggle there from the 777. So it'll be good to see all that happening again. Hopefully some money gets invested into proper facilities and we go racing on proper circuits. But the best thing in all of it has been the blow-ups from the South Australians. I mean, they are a patriotic bunch, if ever you've seen the bunch, and they are not liking any of it. They've all taken it very, very personally as the Bunnings car crashes into the wall there on the exit of turn 12.
More cars per capita in Adelaide alone and in South Australia than anywhere else in Australia itself. So
that's it, exactly. So 25 minutes to go here, but yeah, that was the big news yesterday, of course, in the real world. I was, I was down for the count yesterday with a fairly bad headache, so I was sleeping through much of the day, and I woke up and saw that, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, that's funny. Only because the South Australians were taking it to heart as though it was like, hang on, you've just plucked it and stabbed us. And yet they've still got tail on Ben. It's okay. Settle down. Go and spend some time at in regional SA for one, but two at a full-blown purpose-built corporate motorsport facility, because that's what it was built for. 24 and a half minutes to go. We're almost at half race distance here. Jeff Connell, 20-second lead. Yeah, this is extraordinary from Aaron Cooper, Anthony Visma, Stephen Kennedy, and David Riddell. Daniel Birchall, David Johnson, James Catchpole, Frank Hodak, and Lee Williamson, the top 10. And Williamson finds the wall on that note on my other screen here. There it is. Yeah, Joe's having a good run, sitting there in 12th after, well, albeit a lap down after obviously the opening lap shenanigans, but interesting to note, Joe is the first of those that are a lap down. Oh, dear.
Nowhere to hide here. There's nowhere to hide. You make a mistake, you're going to get yourself and
CJ,
3 other people into trouble.
CJ Thompson and Glenn Riddell have both retired from this race, so we've lost quite a few cars already here. We had 27 take the start. We are down to 22. Still in the race. Exactly. And then you can come through and clean up the bickies.
It showed in the earlier race.
Yep. Especially when there's only one fast repair as well, Joe. Yep. Here's Race Fitzgerald. All good, mate. All good. Race Fitzgerald running wide there and finding the wall on the grass.
Yeah, found the only bit of grass on the whole
back of the circuit. Exactly. You found both bits of it.
But see, that's one of the hard parts, and it did come up in the earlier race with the production cars with Frank Hodak. He did spin, and once you spun, it is very hard to turn around on this track without causing something with other people, and he found that at the end, so I think he got a tow. But it is very hard to actually get going again and turn around once you've spun on this track.
It's almost easier just to reset to the pits, but anyway.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what he was saying.
It's one of those things. The red mist descends. Everybody's trying to get as many positions as they can, and I said this in the last broadcast, and I'll say it again in this broadcast. I always play from the end of the race backwards. There's no use in battling lap 1 to 5 when you're just trying to settle in and get a rhythm. Once you've done that, then you can start battling and start working it out. Maybe lead 5 laps in the NASCARs before you get a 40-second penalty. But there's no use. There's absolutely no use of just absolutely going hell for leather in the first couple of laps. You put the pressure on someone, and it happens all the time. They're going to fall off the road, or they're going to pit stop. One of the two.
I sat there and I thought, geez, this yellow flag in the stock cars there, that really got Nick going really well. And by the way, guys, that number is actually generated randomly, so I do it about an hour before the race. So I don't know what the number is until I actually hit the generate button on the computer, and it gives me a number to throw the yellow on.
Well, it ended up being a very good number tonight. I was a little bit cautious when it was thrown. I thought, hang on, that's going to be very early, but it turned it into a cracker of a race. There's no doubt about that. So.
Yeah, it's something different. Early this week, it might be late next week. It might be on the very last lap. You know, it might be on the first lap.
I have the generator set from 5 laps to 30 laps. So obviously, no yellows in the last 10, and no yellows in the first 5, unless there's something. Whatever, but yeah, they told me between 5 and 30, and so I just set the generator up for that, and away it goes.
All that insight into what goes on behind the scenes of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying that on a Friday night. We've got Chris Kisby, we've got Joe Baldwin, we've got Nico Pop in the commentary box. Trent Lavis will hopefully be back with us soon. Dennis Gaderick, let's check in with you. Top split update, please. How are you faring?
Well, I'm leading, but I haven't taken a pit stop, so that's going to be a bit of a...
There was always a but coming.
There is always a but. No, I was actually catching John Merritt for second place. I ended up catching him from 9 seconds to 4.8 before he pitted. But I'm actually really fancying my pace on these used tyres, so I'm going to keep on going until I genuinely need to pit. Going to take advantage of a little bit of less weight, although severely rooted tyres, let's put it that way. But yeah, no, the race has gone well so far. I'm, set myself the goal of P2 because Hobbo is a bit of a nutcase in these, and he's very quick. So we'll see how we go.
SimShed Broadcasting. There are some pit stops unfolding here on the second split as well for you folks, so check that out over in pit lane. 19 minutes to go here. Should point out as well, we're here with thanks to SimShed Broadcasting. It's Friday Night Motorsport, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And we're proudly sponsored by the great people at LJ Hooker Gaindale and Central Coast Subaru, along with Oculair, Simple Sim Computers, Flash Graphics, and also Racecraft and Stone Cold Racing. This is the Stone Cold Racing Supercar Series for you. Feels wrong using the term V8 now because no one else does. Although too many people that are in the game that still do concerns me. Because it hasn't been in the title for 5 years. But anyway, 18 minutes to go here. Jeff Connell is out and comfortable. He has 26 seconds on the pack. It's a masterclass from the 26.
Yeah, Tony DeRosa is very hard to pass in this, as I found out in the past, racing against him, and he's way down. I don't know what's happened to him there, but Jeff Connell's very hard to pass as well.
Could be a championship make or break defining night for Tony DeRossi. He was leading the second split coming into this round.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. And guys, I must tell you though, if you've got any problems from the race control from the stock cars, it was introduced to Zach Caban as race controller. So yeah, go and see him.
All right, we're about to lose Nick for the night because he's got an early start tomorrow morning. Don't we all?
Not just yet.
Not just yet, but when we do, we'll. I'm just getting in before we do lose you, mate, in case you do have to drop out and we can't get back to you for some final thoughts. It's been a cracker of a night. I mean, I like the fact that we're now mixing it up with two circuits on a Friday night, and I don't think I'm alone in that sentiment. The stock cars delivered an instant classic, and finally, Brenton Hobson, albeit narrowly because of the fact that he went across the line spinning around Kylie Minogue style, and he went across the line coughing and spluttering. He finally defeated Cal Watmore in an out-and-out fight tonight, and that's the thing that'll stand out for mine. If he does complete the triple treat, and he's on his way to doing that, the fact that he didn't have to rely on an internet issue for Glenn Postlethwaite or a rare mistake for Cal Watmore. He beat them in an out-and-out fight in a race where they kept it clean, they kept it consistent for 39 laps and 9 tenths of the 40th. That was just a cracking race.
Well, I got to see part of it when they whizzed past me after my penalty, but hey, look, consistently up there, you just got to, he had to wait for, that's a big hit.
Peter McMurdo. Jeff Connell's in the pit lane as well, incidentally, just to point it out too for you folks. Anyway, Nick, we'll go back to you at this point.
Oh, I was just going to say, you got to be there. He's been there consistently every week. One of those things, as we heard from Callum, he had a better run than Callum in terms of mistakes. Callum made a mistake, and that was that, and he capitalised on it. You got to be there to do that.
Another spinner there behind Anthony Visma. You're about to see that on replay as well. Nick, thoughts on next week? Because obviously we've got Sonoma for the stock cars. We've got Barber for the rest of it on a Friday night. Wednesday night's going to be good as we head to Imola. Monday night equally as good because we head to Monza.
Yes, so Barber's for which cars?
production cars and supercars.
That'll be interesting. A nice tight little circuit there, high downforce, short straights, lots of corners. I think the result's going to be very similar to this, but just no walls to hit that are that close. Opening and closing corners and all sorts of things there. It's a very nice circuit. I love it. So production cars won't be too bad. Supercars may be a bit of a lottery. We'll see how it goes. Sonoma for the stock cars is always fun. And it's a great circuit to drive. Very easy on fuel. You just got to really get the car going mid-corner. What's for GT3?
Full course or short course, Nick?
I think we'll do the short course, but, could change. You never know. What's GT3?
So your other question? GT3's Monza, mate, and then, of course, Wednesday night's Imola.
Oh, well, the Italian run. The Italian job.
That's it.
Monza fantastic in the GT cars. Just got to watch just little things like if you miss your braking marker in those cars, especially into the first two chicanes, there's no lockups, there's no spinning. It's just going to keep going. So it'll be hard to, especially with the ABS, it's going to be hard to see what happens there. And also you got to watch the second Lesmos is a very bad curbing and corner, and that has caught so many people out with cars spinning back across the track and smashing into the inside wall. So that'll be interesting. Imola for the Wednesday night stuff. Yep. My last run at Imola wasn't too crash hot, but hopefully I can rectify that this week. I love the fact that we come out at Revuts 2 and just blast all the way up to Tamburello. So, look, bring it on. I love tracks with undulation, as you know. So it should be good fun next week. Lots of hills.
Indeed, it will be.
Lots of
All
hills.
right, let's recycle those comments from Nick for a little bit later on when we do our post-race show. We're just getting into chat to him now because he won't be around for post-race. Exactly. Dennis Gaderick, I see your microphone lighting up there. An update, please.
So I'm still leading, which is nice. Pitting this lap. Let's see what the gap is. Well, Hobbo's caught 2 seconds up to me in the last maybe 4 laps. So, the man's got pace. It's now 8 seconds, which is a little bit worrying for me because obviously I need to make a pit stop. So, he's out there in front, but I'm not really racing him. I think I'm racing John Merritt, if I'm being honest.
38 seconds behind.
38 seconds? Or I just don't know whether or not, because, I'm really
behind Hobson.
I'm really... Oh, really? Oh, okay, never mind then. Because I'm really inexperienced in these cars. I don't know whether to take tyres. My pace is still good.
Take tyres.
Okay, never mind. Take tyres. Okay.
Take tyres. Tyres are done at the same time as fuel. Take tyres.
How much fuel do I need?
That I can't tell you. I can tell you that Hobson's burning 3.11 a lap.
See, I'm burning like 2.9, and I'm gunning it. See, he's a bit more
trying. He's sideways everywhere in acceleration zones too.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's set a bit of a challenge up, to be fair, how much he can catch up to me, which is nice. How many laps are left? Let's have a look. So I've got... How many laps? Sorry, whoopsies.
Done 23.
Head off faster, Dennis.
Oh, I don't know, because I don't have my crew chief. He's not going to set it up for me, so got to do some quick maths on the fly here.
Well, good luck with that. So not only do we have live in-race control for you, ladies and gentlemen, we have also live in-race coaching being broadcast for you tonight with Nico Top offering advice to Dennis Gaderick there. But we like it, and we appreciate Dennis sticking around, having us in his ears, talking about everything that's going on in that top split for us.
Well, I'll be in helping Jackson out, but he's got Warwick. Well, he had Josh Millard help him out with the starts and his numbers. So, usually I'll be out helping that. So that's the kind of information I always try and give.
Yep. Jeff Connell, Anthony Visma. Third place is the 1, 2, 4 of Aaron Cooper, then Dave Riddell, then Daniel Birchnell, James Catchpole, Stephen Kennedy, David Johnson, Anthony Cuthbertson, and Frank Kodak, the top 10 here. 10.5 to go. We're on the home stretch. We're in the final quarter of the race now. This has been a masterclass from Jeff Connell. Justin King sitting down there in position number 15 at the moment, 2 positions away from Tony De Rossi, who is the championship leader actually in this split coming into this round. This points order is about to get a bit of a shake-up, though, I think. And once again, we'll update you on it next week when we come to you on a Friday night. 10 to go. Jeff Connell on lap 23. Pulling it too easily. Yeah, well, this is the thing. We've seen that much damage throughout the streets of Detroit tonight that there are bonnets and front panels and everything all over the joint.
His front wheels are just flying out the front.
So we believe that Brenton Hobson will be a clear driver of the night tonight. He's got 10 minutes to try and hold on there. There's Marty Hughes running wide, and down up on his inside will go Lee Williamson. I think. Dennis, have you now pitted?
I have indeed. So I've come out 22 seconds behind Hobbo. But now I want to see how much I can catch him in the next 5 minutes, which will be... Well, which apparently if I hit a wall, that's not the quickest way around a corner, if I'm being honest, guys, which is weird.
So you've leapfrogged Mr. T.
Yeah, P2.
See that now, yeah. Good work.
Oh, appreciate that, man. I've been driving so hard. Jesus Christ.
And this is the thing too. Kim Four in more trouble. In 15th position. Slowly resuming there. Anthony Visma in the lane right now. David Riddell in the lane. Daniel Birchnell's going to move up into position number 3 and all of that. Geez, hope you're enjoying the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. 8.5 minutes to go. Stick around, full post-race show to come. And then sleep is in order for a lot of us because we've got a big day tomorrow, of course. Getting ready for the usual, election lemonade drinking contest. And getting ready to flush that mob. But also, Women's Big Bash on for 10 hours tomorrow. Formula 1 qualifying from San Marino, the Imola circuit, which will be out on Wednesday night, of course. And, if you don't mind me saying so, third leg of the Bledisloe Cup. So, a big day tomorrow sports-wise. Oh, and not to mention Derby Day from Flemington too.
I hear our Tassie boys gave the West Australians a bit of a touch-up with the ball today.
In the cricket, in the Shield?
In the Shield, yeah. It went through.
I might have to have a look at the radio. I was going to say, I haven't had a look at the cricket results yet, but I will have to do that. For whatever reason, I just can't get into long-form domestic cricket, but if it's a test match, I'll sit there all day long. As it is, Chris, you'll appreciate this. As a general sports fan, as soon as they released the dates for the Australia-India Test Series, I was like, right, sim racing finishes November, so I don't have to worry about that. Radio I can wrap up whenever I like and go home for the year. So as long as I get home before the 17th of December, I'm right, because the 17th, I want to be parked on the lounge at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or 2:30 it will be, watching all the action from the Adelaide Oval.
It's a little bit like my household. I'll be asked, what are you watching that for? I said,
the 17's in the wall. The 17, David Johnson in the wall. Sorry, Chris, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, right.
Let's have a look at this on replay here. This will be a case of catching curb and then too much throttle on the exit and bang into the wall.
I know that feeling.
Back to you, Chris.
Yes, so the common statement in here is, what are you watching that for? I said, because you normally watch that sport. I said, yeah, well, it's Australia versus anyone else in the world.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter what sport it is or whatever. If we're playing, we watch it.
Exactly, and more than that, and I'm the same with rugby union. I won't watch a lot of rugby union, but when it's Bledisloe Cup, can't help myself. Jeff Connell going well at the moment, too far out in front. 42 seconds, if you don't mind, on Aaron Cooper. This is just a dynamite performance from him on a Friday night. Just scintillating. Not as good as Brenton Hobson's carve-up is going to be, but still worth noting every step of the way. Jeff Connell is going to win this thing in a canter. 5.5 minutes to go. It's not only that either, Chris. It's the same with the Olympics. When the Olympics come around, everyone becomes a fan of all these little, school sports, as Sam Newman calls them. And
everybody becomes an expert.
We absolutely love them. We sit there day and night absorbing all this Olympic sport that we won't watch again for 4 years, with the exception of maybe the swimming. But When the Commonwealth Games come around, different story. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to cricket, there's not much else on the telly come Christmas time except for repeats and reruns and advertorials. So you may as well sit and watch the cricket. Make the most of it. That's of course if it's too hot, like it is in Queensland, to go outside. You get sunburnt just going to the letterbox here. So it's best off to stay inside, turn the fan on, and let the rest do its work. So looking forward to all of that. Oh, car on the wall. One of the Stone Cold Racing cars.
Again.
4.5 minutes to go here. Hope you're enjoying Friday Night Motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club on SimShed Broadcasting. Here's the Stone Cold replay of the Stone Cold car. Locking it up. Way too late and into the wall.
Yes, I used to race with those three at the back there, and yeah, it could be quite exciting at times.
Absolutely. Hey, Nick, just before we do lose you, the fact of the matter is that we're at the end of October. Tomorrow's the last day of October. What's the club got planned for its Saturday night exploits? And then, of course, can you believe there's only 1 month left in our competitive year?
I actually don't know what they have planned for Saturday night. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. However, there is an endurance race coming up. I think 2 weeks.
Nice.
I heard some of the boys were talking about preparing for that. I believe they're GTE cars, so a little bit faster than GT3s and more adjustment, more downforce. More position forward. There. So yeah. So that should be exciting, and then it will lead us into, I think, our final month, and then it'll all be fun and games for the back end of the year. I want to run some ovals in the Xfinity car, see how we all go, and yeah, just all round fun at this time of the year.
So that Team Enduro that Nick was mentioning is Saturday, November the 14th. It's at 1 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Make a note of that, Queensland, you morons. Suzuka Grand Prix circuit 6-hour race, so looking forward to that immensely.
Oh, yeah, sorry, but I don't care how bad the Fords are. Sometimes if it's a Ford, I'll drive it.
That's it, exactly. I like that loyalty. 2 minutes 40 left here. Jeff Cotolotti's run home now. He's probably going to get 2 laps to go when he gets to the line. And what has been a dominant performance in the Ford tonight. Connell, Cooper and Visma the top 3. Everyone else a lap down, and Visma's going to go a lap down before they get back to the line at the end of this 2 minutes and 17 seconds. So this has been just emphatic from Connell. 1 minute 30.45, his best lap of the race. He's the only man that's been in the 1 minute 30 bracket tonight. Cooper and Visma 31s and 32s, everyone else well outside. Just goes to show you, Nick, when someone like Jeff Connell plays big fish, small pond, there's a big discrepancy between the top and the tail as far as lap times are concerned.
Yeah, 100%.
2 to go.
If he keeps it up, I'm sure you get jumped up into the big boys series as well. So, look, take advantage of it while you can. Car, oh wow, Stone Cold car, not looking to crash hot right there.
No.
How good's that shot? You got a bit of a sculpture in the front and the foreground. He's probably looking at these silly people with the wrong horsepower. Yeah, look, 55 seconds. Wow, there's only 3 cars on the lead lap. They're probably going to bump him up quicker than he thinks. So, see how he goes.
So this will be the last lap next time by for Jeff Connell. So it's going to be another one of those similar situations to what we had in the production car race with Paul Nichols going out on the last lap. If you're fast enough, you're going to squeeze an extra lap in. Jeff Connell is going to ensure that everyone gets a 30th lap here, or 29th in their case, because they're all a lap down. Only Aaron Cooper will end up not being a lap down here out of the rest of the field, which is an emphatic effort from Jeff Connell. But it's going to be the difference between 29 and 30 laps in terms of the total race distance, which is a fair effort from Jeff Connell. Let's be perfectly honest. And I did say at the start that we're heading for 29.30, so Jeff Connell's proven me correct, which I'm happy about. First time for everything. And with 18 seconds to go, he is on his last lap now.
Yeah, just very quickly on that
Yes.
that ratio between the two drivers. I think it was Dennis in the GT3s on Monday drove my Ford with my setup, and he was 5 seconds quicker, and he actually beat the TCR time world record in the Ford around that track.
Hey, Joe, you were going to chime in there, mate?
Oh, I was just going to give a bit of in-racing. I've managed to make my goal that I set early in the race, considering it's been such a shocker, and I've managed to climb into the top 10.
I was just about to say that because I was looking down the order and saw you sitting there in 10th place, so well done, mate. Back into the 10, which is good to see. Stick around, we'll have a chat to you post-race about all of that. Here's Jeff Connell on the run home, though, folks. What a tremendous performance this has been. We're used to seeing this guy in the GT3 split on a Monday night or in the GT3 Porsches on a Wednesday night carving it up. Tonight, he's turned his head to the development split of the supercars. Yes, it might be a bit of a case of a big fish in a small pond, but he has cleaned up as only he knows how and done it very cleanly. Into the last sequence of corners here. Around on towards the main straight comes Jeff Connell, car into the wall on the run to the line, but Jeff Connell is going to carve it up and annihilate the competition. That was a dominant blitz from Jeff Connell to win on the streets of Detroit.
Oh, the Fords do it again.
Very nicely done. Second place is going to go to Aaron Cooper here, but he's still a long way off home. Anthony Visma a lap down, everyone else behind a lap down as well. James Catchpole, David Riddell and Daniel Birchnell making up the top 6. Stephen Kennedy yet to come round, so too David Johnson and Frank Hodak. And Joe Baldwin will round out the top 10 in all of that. But that was an annihilation from Jeff Connell. Simply superb.
Just to put in perspective, Brenton Hobson only finished about 5 seconds before Connell crossed the line. So, yeah, mind you, there's a delay, so it's probably closer to 15 seconds. But yeah, Hobson's done the triple, and I believe our in-race reporter, Mr. D. Gaderick, has come second.
Correct.
Well,
Happy days. First, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's no Australia there or anything like that, which probably would have not helped my grid position. But yeah, no, 5th to 2nd after dropping to 7th. I'm happy with that.
I was going to say, the Phillip Island race winner being out of the server probably helped a lot of people in both splits, stock cars and supercars tonight, but you got to be in it doing it, as they say. And Dennis, I was going to say, it's not off. You strike me as a competitive sort of bugger, so it's not often that I'm going to hear you say I'm happy with second when you're up against a bloke like Brenton Hobson, because he usually brings out the best in you, competitively speaking.
Yeah, he definitely did. I didn't have anything for him. Like, to put into perspective, I'm just having a comparing our laps now. He was, he did 3:31 ones in a row, like lap 19, 20, 21. Whereas, let's say for me, 19, 20, 21 looked like 31.8, 31.5, 31.8. So yeah, he had the pace this race. It's absolutely crazy drive. No, I mean, I genuinely had nothing for him. He did well. I got to put some practice in.
Indeed, there are the results for you, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Connell, Aaron Cooper and Anthony Visma. 56 seconds the winning margin for Jeff Connell, so he went better than a second a minute in that race ahead of the competition. Visma third, a lap down, and so was everyone else here, right down until 13th position. Thank you very much to Nico Pop for his expert comments tonight. He's ducked out. Hopefully some of the boys will jump into the green room here and have a chat to us. Jackson Rayhana, Brenton Hobson, the like. We'll get to them very shortly. Cooper, Visma, Catchpole and Riddell made up the top 5. Birchnell, Kennedy, Johnson, Hodak and Baldwin made up the top 10. Then we go back to Anthony Cuthbertson, Tony DeRossi, Reese Belitho, Justin King and Kim Ford at 15th. As we said there earlier, quite a few guys are lapped down, courtesy of the demoralisation of from Jeff Connell. I mean, that was just simply brilliant. Everyone from 13th down, 2 laps down or more. Craig Hopkins 3 laps down in 16th. In fact, let's just run through the rest of the order here. Marty Hughes, Lee Williamson, Peter McMurdo, and then Reese Fitzgerald. Stephen Birchnell and Max Losh made up all the, somewhat finishes. Chris Polly was an early retirement, so too Andrew Fenn, CJ Thompson, Glenn Riddell, and also Kevin Krause with Matt Whitaker last of the starters, and Dylan Gray, Connor Brown, Josh Forer, and Daniel H. There were a couple of non-starters in all of that, but again, there were a couple of cars that their race ended before it even started on that opening lap. Wow. Jeff Connell, well done, mate. Brilliant performance. I mean, that was demoralising, dominant, simply superb from you. 56 seconds. You've never made it look easier. But a case of a big fish in a small pond is always going to generate that sort of result, I would have thought.
I don't know about big fish, mate. I think I've done about 2 races in supercars. I'm a supercar rookie, so I did one at Monza last year in the supercar, and then don't really drive them much, but I really enjoy this street circuit. So just took the opportunity to race this track. Basically, it turned out to be a supercar, so it made it even more fun.
Indeed, it did. What did you make of the circuit? Because it's a concrete canyon. It does offer up its challenges. You thankfully avoided all the carnage on lap 1, and that was pretty much where the race was won for you. You just needed to hold off Aaron Cooper and Anthony Visma there, and in the end, you walked away with it.
Yeah, I took it pretty easy, like those first 2 laps, just because if you make one little mistake on cold tyres, you're gone, and not having done really any laps in the supercars, I don't know how hard I can push on cold tyres, so I just sort of played it safe. And same with the start. Like whoever started third got a way better jump than me. Just lucky it was a short run to the first corner. So, yeah.
I was going to say, if only Joe Baldwin was on the front row and not the second row, that could have been a hell of a lot of a different story tonight for a lot of people. But it wasn't to be. Brenton Hobson's in the chat room. We'll get to him in just a moment. Dennis Gaderick's here as well. We'll reflect on the top split with them shortly. Hopefully Jackson Ray Harner will jump down as well. But firstly, let's talk with Jeff Connell as we continue our post-race wrap here. He's won by 56 seconds. And Jeff, only one other car on the lead lap. That sums it up, doesn't it, how dominant that race was. So even though you're a supercar rookie, your words, not mine, everything went smoothly according to script?
Yeah, it went pretty smooth. Like, once you get in a rhythm at this track, it's probably not the hardest track in the world once you're in a rhythm, because you got the wall, you're sort of pushing it to the wall, so you sort of know where the edge is once you get in a rhythm. So, yeah, I think that's a lot of it.
Indeed it is. Hey, thoughts on what's ahead? Because obviously the Porsches are going A-OK. All right, Wednesday night was a little bit of a slip, but in terms of the championship, you're still in a good position there. As far as that's concerned, we're off to Imola next, so I'll get your thoughts on that. And has this whet the appetite for a little bit more supercar action in the coming weeks as well? Because they're off to Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama next week.
A little bit, yeah. It's something I want to do a bit more of, but just don't have the time, like, to run a open setup series competitively. So I'm not sure how much more I'll do in the supercar. Plus Friday night's a pretty busy night for me usually as well. So.
Well, I was going to say Canberra's social life hasn't been what it usually is since COVID, but it would be kicking back into gear, I'm sure.
Mate, Canberra hasn't been affected by COVID. We haven't had COVID here for months, and
yeah. Can you tell these morons in Queensland, because they were treating you with the same brush as New South Wales there for a long, long time, and they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I know, mate. We're in our own little bubble here, so yeah, like it's going well. I'm in sales and we're flat out, and yeah, it's just powering along. So yeah. What's COVID?
Well, that's exactly right. I'm asking the same question, and yet everyone here is on edge because we're opening the border on Tuesday. Fair dinkum, pull the other one that plays Jingle Bells. Jeff, well done, mate. Congratulations. Nice drive. Stay there if you want. If not, we'll catch up with you on Wednesday night. I think it'll be the next time we see you, or are you going to come and have a run on Monday night?
I haven't looked at Monday night, so probably just Wednesday night.
All right.
I might give Jacinda to go on Tuesday if I get time. Otherwise, I'll be back Wednesday.
Mate, looking forward to it. Well done again.
Right.
Beautiful stuff. Let's go and address the main prize and the main star of the night for you, ladies and gentlemen, because for the first time, and we've been waiting for it for 6 bloody weeks, for the first time, Brenton Hobson has set out to get the treble, and completed the triple treat. He has swept the evening. The hat-trick is his. The entree in the production cars here in Belle Isle. The main course in the stock cars in Motorsport, which I'm particularly excited to chat to him about. And then with thanks to Janice Gaderick for keeping us updated while we were bringing you the Pro AM split or the development split here. He's wrapped up the supercars on the streets of Detroit, Michigan once more. Brenton Hobson, at long last, you got it done. Unfortunately, you just happened to pick the night where we weren't broadcasting your third race, mate, but the hat-trick is yours. You must be relieved.
Yes, very relieved, very, very buggered, actually, because it's been a hard night at the wheel tonight. Not the easiest couple of tracks to be racing at, so I'm pretty cooked, and I'm glad that it's over, to be honest, but 100%, I've wanted to try and do the triple. I know that I've been close, and it's been a possibility, but I was really hoping I would be able to do it, but really didn't expect that I would. So, hey, we got there in the end. We managed to do it. That's checked off the bucket list now, and I can stop stressing about it, and we can just take each race as it comes now.
Exactly. Production cars you made look pretty easy, helped by the fact that Michael Hammond didn't like that combination. He didn't like the bum draggers. He detests them, essentially. So, you were on the front foot to start with, and he was on the back foot, and it kind of fell into your favour there. The supercars, just give us a little bit of a rundown as how that fared, and then we'll talk stock cars, mate.
Supercars was okay. I qualified on pole and didn't get the best start side by side with. Let me think, who was it that we started next to? I think it was John, and he sort of got to the inside of me into turn one, and then I just held it around the outside, and then had the inside obviously for turn two, and from there we managed to gap away and just drive our own race pretty much. I think we ended up winning by about 20 seconds, I think it was. So it was a pretty quiet race, really. Other than that, we bumped a few walls, and I'm glad you weren't broadcasting, actually, because I drove straight into the fence with two corners to go because I wasn't paying attention, and I nearly crashed out of the race on the last lap, so that would have been funny. But
that would have been exciting, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a pretty straightforward race. I actually have done laps here this week, which is different to usual for the supercars because V8 Scops here races this weekend. So I got a few laps in last night, so I was more prepared for tonight than usual. So it's a difficult track, and I don't seem to go very well here in the supercars, but I was quietly confident that I'd be able to get the pace to get it done this week.
All right, let's talk about the main course, if you like, because at long last you've managed to get one up on Callum Watmore at his own game with the stock cars. Often we've seen you go to victory lane. I know the Charlotte Roval was a prime example last year. You've gone to victory lane in an instance where Cal struck trouble, or Glenn Postlewade's had an internet dropout, or something bizarre and peculiar and, really just left field. Tonight, an out-and-out duke-out fight between you and Cal every step of the way, and had it gone a lap longer, you wouldn't have made it.
No, 100%. We had to fuel save the whole way home. We pitted with 15 to go, and I knew we could sort of do 14 in a bit. And I took the punt. I mean, we had to undercut him. We were never going to pass him on the track. It was too hard to pass there on the track, and without a mistake, which, I mean, it's Cal. He's not going to make one. It was going to be a very big ask for me to get him just for out and out pace the hard way. So I pitted. I actually assumed he would honestly pit at the same time that I did to cover off that undercut. But he probably felt like, without having to save fuel and charge to the end, that he'd be able to get me back and proof enough that it's hard to pass around there, because I didn't run the cleanest run all the way to the end, and I was saving fuel, but he wasn't able to get past. So I'm through. I'm stoked. I mean, like you say, I managed to go toe to toe with him and beat him, which is what I've said that I've wanted to do all season. So it wasn't a pretty job. Didn't do it the pretty way, but I mean, we did it. So it was definitely exciting. Probably one of the best races. I mean, Bathurst last week was probably the best race I think I've done as far as a drive goes, but that was probably the best race we've had just
for sure
on the track. So we got lucky. I ran out of fuel in the last corner, and that's what caused the crash coming to the line. And I felt bad because I think Cal initially thought that he ran over me, and it was his fault, but it wasn't. I just ran out of fuel, and we got lucky. He sort of served me just the right way to get me across the line in front of him. So very, very lucky.
Very lucky indeed. And that's the thing as well. Like, had it been an issue where Cal had gone by and taken the checkered flag, there would have been no harm, no foul. It wouldn't have been anything to redress because, again, not his fault. But that's the sportsman of Cal that he sat back and said, no, you take it. Will you just confirm for us, because I got a little bit melded up between my 180s and my 360s, but I was convinced that you were sideways in some way or portion going across that line, or were you straight?
I'm not sure whereabouts the actual line was. I mean,
No.
I was definitely backwards. I did not cross the line front wheels in front of the back ones. We'll put it like that. I don't know at what orientation I was, but I was
Copy
definitely
that.
not forwards.
No.
Yeah, as you say, there wouldn't have been any issues like if it had to be looked at post race or anything like that. I just ran out of fuel and I tried to wiggle the car in front of him, hoping that he'd push me across the line with the momentum that I had, and it just lifted the wheels up and turned me around as you would expect it to. And I just got lucky, really, the way that it worked out. So, yeah, we had a good race. He got me a couple of laps earlier, or a lap or two before that as well, down at turn 3 or whatever it is. And like you say, good sportsman and lifted out of it and let me find my feet again and then went after it again. So, I mean, once before he's got me at Bathurst and it didn't work like that, but that time he did the gentlemanly thing, which was really good, and let us keep fighting.
Exactly right, mate. No, well done on all of that. Let's look ahead to next week, because obviously Wednesday night is the Imola circuit, but next Friday night, let's focus more on that, because we've already talked on Wednesday night about Imola, and we're short for time here as we usually are on a Friday night. It's already 11 o'clock on most parts of the East Coast. Don't get me started on that. It's too early in the night here, but let's talk about that phenomenal circuit that's known as Sonoma for the Cup cars, but also Barber Motorsports Park for the other two races next Friday night, which, as you remember, threw up one of the best GT3 races we've had all year last season as well.
I do remember that. That was a great race. As was the Sonoma race, because I think that's one of the ones I actually won in the stock car. So,
well played.
That might be a good week, but I mean, it's going to be the Cal Watmore show, isn't it? Because we know he loves a few tracks, but we know that Sonoma's probably the one it's going to be the one where beating Cal's a real mission. We got him last time with a bit of strategy, I think. Like you say, we haven't really beaten him for pace around there, so I think Cal's going to be a bit of a handful next week on Friday. But Barber, like you say, a great track. Good fun in the V8s. I don't know what the production car is, like usual, but we'll be there to give it a squirt.
Excellent, mate. Well done again. Congratulations. And stay with us, because obviously when we get back to Driver of the Night, I think you're going to feature fairly prominently. Dennis Gadderick, well done to you. Second place in the top split, which is a nice debut in the top split for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I was happy. 0 incident points, second place. Yeah, I genuinely need to learn how to start the cars, man. I'm fact, like, just stop starts are a little bit of a enigma for me, so yeah, got to figure that out. Dropped to 7th, made my way back up to 2nd. And towards the end, because obviously it was pretty lonely, I was trying to compare myself a little bit to Hobbo and started getting a bit of a big head. I was just like, wow, I'm pulling him in, and then just out of nowhere, really close to the end, he set a quicker lap than my entire race lap on new tyres. So I was like, oh well, better keep myself in check a little bit there, because yeah, he's obviously got the pace. So now I've got to put in some practice, got to bridge that gap. Probably won't be there by next week. But if I can make that 19-second gap back to about 10, that would be ideal.
Indeed. And, I mean, obviously, Hobbo's in a league of his own in this series. We know Michael Schreier's a gun when he's in the server as well. Actually, before I ask you that, Dennis, what happened to the teammate tonight, Brenton, if you don't mind us asking?
He's had a PC failure, so we're not sure at this stage when he's going to be back. So that's the other point about tonight that's probably aided me without a doubt. I didn't have the immediate threat in the supercar that I've had from him in the last couple of weeks, and
the
stock car.
Yeah,
I didn't have him positioning himself between me and Cal like he tends to do a lot. So, that certainly aided my ability to get the 3 wins tonight. But I really hope to see him back as soon as possible. I know he wants to get back on the track as quickly as he can, but as is the case with these things, it's not always necessarily an easy fix. I know he's got a fair bit of work to do to get that PC back up and running. So hopefully sooner rather than later, but that's a real disappointment.
Well, exactly. Okay, Dennis. So all that taken on board, what's the secret for you? Apart from the starts, we know that. What's the secret to now trying to go with Hobbo and catch him here? Because we know GT3s, you two level pegging. Stock cars, he's just got your measure. Supercars, he's really got your measure. What's the secret now to your plan of attack over the next few weeks to try and improve your game in the supercar?
Well, it's actually really interesting. Actually, we spoke about this a couple of nights ago. Actually, we were just sort of talking about speed in the supercars, and he kind of told me, well, you don't know where the speed comes from. You just sit in there and you suddenly go 4/10s quicker. And I genuinely felt that tonight. It was sort of, as the race was going on, I was getting more comfortable on the used tyres. It was sort of coming to me. And the speed in this is, like, don't get me wrong, the GT3 is very straightforward. It's like, it's either your braking or it's either your exits or it's mid-quarter speed. And that's very, very easy to sort of, for me at least, it's easy to find. Whereas in the supercar, I don't know where it is. It's like you can trail brake it in a little bit faster than you would, but then you lose the exit, but then you got to find some sort of compromise there. So it's a little bit more of a thinking man's game, to be fair. And obviously it's more experience. Like supercars, my bread and butter. I used to be in the top the strength of fields for Monday nights ages ago. This was 2014, 15. I just have to find my pace from back then, essentially.
Indeed, that is the case, and of course, you've got one eye on the prize for the GT3 series at the moment as well. So, I take it as far as this series is concerned, all in on the GT. Do what you can in the supercar, and then work on the supercar for the start of 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll leave the GTs till Bathurst essentially, or we'll see how we go for Donington. I genuinely want. It's actually really interesting. It's the more I drive the supercar, I feel like the quicker I get in the GT3s, and that's just to do more with car control because you need a lot of car control in these things. But yeah, I genuinely want to figure out how to get quicker in the supercar. It's a difficult car to master. But yeah, 20 seconds over 1 week is difficult to find, so it'll take a couple of weeks, that's for sure.
Indeed you will. Hey, well done, boys. Let me come back to you in just a moment. I want to quickly skip down. Joe Baldwin, you're obviously happy with 10th there in the end, mate. What might have been had it not been for the shenanigans on the grid?
Yeah, absolutely. There towards the end, I sort of was not catching Aaron, but I was a lap down on him and I was sort of keeping pace. So if we hadn't have blown the start there, there's probably a top 5 that went big, I guess. But unfortunately for Tony, I've been chatting to Tony offline, and he had a really bad race as well. So yes. I managed to claw back a couple of points in the championship there, and the other guy that's in the running didn't actually join us tonight, so I'm not sure where he was, but no, it was more, I don't know, trying to minimise the mistake from the start, which is pretty disappointing. It was just not enough throttle, too much clutch, and as soon as I sort of let it go, it just stalled. And I don't have a button mapped. I've got to hold the clutch and the throttle to get it to fire. So, yeah, apologies to everybody involved. But the fight back was crazy. I think 5 incidents I got involved in with people going into the wall in front of me while I was trying not to get any contact at all. So, just one of those things on a track like this, so I guess.
Just interesting point to note out as well here at this point, folks. Audi won the first race. Of course, it was an all-Audi race. Brenton, I believe, runs a Chevy in the stock cars, and Michael runs a Ford. So it was Chevy in the second race. Holden won the top split. Ford won the bottom split in supercars. So 4 different manufacturers on top tonight for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Joe, just looking forward, mate. Obviously, a big week ahead, but your input into the racing, your involvement kind of hinges upon getting home on time, and that's hard at this time of the weekend, or this time of the season, I should say, because of the time difference. It's only 8 o'clock over on the West Coast right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just gone 8 o'clock. So luckily, Fridays with supercars, I'm generally finished early enough. But during the week, it's just a crapshoot where it happens, and it's just a byproduct of daylight savings, I guess. It's but the Stone Cold crew, they're, I believe, going to start up a mixed bag thing on Monday nights, which will be good because I'll be able to join that one in with the boys.
After the GTs on that subject, Kim Fora from Stone Cold is standing by to have a chat here. Kim, everything that we saw tonight indicated that you had a fair few brief encounters with concrete. It was a rough night at the office.
You there, mate? Yep, cool.
Yep,
Hey,
now,
Zach,
yep.
how you going?
Good, mate.
I didn't do too bad considering the normal performance, I must admit. So I think I finished around the 15th mark, which was pretty good for me.
Correct, 15th, yep.
Had a couple of Olympians lapping us at an alarming rate at the start. I thought it was a space shuttle going past sometimes. But look, we do the development series for a couple of reasons. One, all the new members that come in can just literally log in the day after they pay and have a race in V8 supercars with a bunch of really cool guys. We've made some pretty cool friends in here. And some of us older guys that literally, I think twice this year already, I've downloaded the track we're racing during qualifying. So that's the amount of practice we've had. But that just shows what the club's all about. You know, it's about some good mates get on Discord and we, get in the track, mate. What are we doing? Oh, yeah, look at this. And they help you with a few settings. And it has been amazing. COVID probably pushed it in that direction, but it's just like, I don't know, for me, I'm 51, so it's a bit like going back to the sports club of the old days. You know, you've met some mates, you're just playing in a team together, you're all racing against each other, but you're actually making a few friends along the way. And mate, as I said, I've set up my rig to be as close to driving a car immersion-wise as possible. I don't care where I finish. I have a fat time on Friday nights, and it's awesome. And to be on broadcast for the first time, we were all super excited tonight. Our slow old guys at the back, we were like, woohoo, we can watch this back at some stage with Zach's commentary, and we were very excited.
I wouldn't get too excited about the commentary, but I'm sure that you'll enjoy the footage all the same, mate. It was interesting because... and I'm sure you'll realise this when you watch it back. When the race started to fizzle out a little bit, yes, we still spoke about the crashes, but we're having more general discussion about a few things happening around the place as well, as you sometimes do. It's called what we call fill content, because otherwise you just sound to get a little bit, you tend to get a little bit repetitive after a little while. So, but no, it was great. In fact, all three races tonight were great, and obviously the top split for the supercars was terrific as well. Stone Cold, we appreciate your involvement with the series, mate. Obviously, you sponsor our replays. You're as part of our supercar series as well, and it just goes to show the popularity of the development split, the fact that it had a bigger field than the top split tonight.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's been the case for a little while, and that's not taken any away from I understand the guys wanting to get up and be the best. Like, I've been a sportsman in the past, so I understand it. But there's two clear groups, I think, in here, is those that really want to achieve the greatest heights. Look, I would love to be good enough to get into that split. But because I'm not, I'm just trying to do the best I can where I am. So the fact that we actually had the club turn around and go, oh, these other second and third splits are going to get a bit of a broadcast. We've been talking about it all week. Seriously, we don't want to stuff up and everyone's going to see us and whatever. But as Joe mentioned, like, I have spoken to the Prez today just to make sure that he understands. So all the Stone Cold racing stuff that we've created within the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is for just that level down of seriousness. It's more of the real, just relax, fun, but still practicing. So still getting the skills of driving. So on Monday nights, from the next season onwards, and we will be starting this Monday night coming as trials just through to the end of the season. We're going to run a Stone Cold Racing Cup after the GT3s on a Monday night. I've come up with the final combination, if you like, which is my which I've really sort of enjoyed developing with a few different inputs from the club. So what I can announce is that we will run a season with points and a trophy, just like the alongside what the Sim Club does. But the Monday night race will be, each Monday night will be a completely different discipline. So we'll run GTE, we're going to run IndyCar, we're going to run F1, we're going to run Sprint Car. So the people that turn up the most regularly and can consistently perform have a potential of winning, rather than doing a IndyCar series or whatever and having a champs fast guy that just comes up the front and wins. Those that turn up more regularly and race have a chance of winning. And I think that's really important. There will be good track conditions, there will be fixed setups, and there will be unlimited repairs. So it sort of gives it that guise of you have to be serious. You've got to race with the Gentleman Sim Club philosophy in hand.
Yep.
But let's try some different stuff. Let's mix it up a little bit, and let's have a bit of fun. One of the guys suggested Discord is mandatory. I probably won't enforce that, but hey, like if you can get on and have a chat and a laugh while we're racing, it makes it all that much better.
It certainly does. So the two things I picked up in all of that is important. A, you're not going to have to win to be the outright champion. Consistency is going to be your friend there. And two, it's going to be versatility that wins it as well. So that's going to be very interesting. Now, the $64 million question, that's going to be an off-air thing for you guys. We're not going to be doing overtime here, are we?
Mate, I will. The reason I wanted to do this as a regular thing, and even tonight was very important for me, because of a couple of the guys with Twitch and SimShed and that sort of stuff. I can show some sponsors because I have had some sponsorship up to now. We do pop-ups on the weekend, which have money iRacing prizes, which came from a couple of our sponsors through Wins and other people that have sponsored the Stone Cold Racing team. I'm trying to get a major sponsor on board to actually do that, and if not, find some way of broadcasting it, because this is the kicker that no one sort of understands yet. The Monday night mix-up series on a spreadsheet with championship points that people need to go through these disciplines, they're not going to know what discipline or what track until they log into the server on the Monday night.
Ooh, nice.
No practice.
That's a nice little kick of spice to it.
How do you like that? So I come home from work and I download a track sometimes during quali, and that's just my life. So the Stone Cold Racing team is going to let everybody experience what it's like to just get in, have a chat with your mates, and have a race, and the best man wins on the night.
That sounds really exciting, and I'm sure a lot of people are sitting there licking their lips at that at the moment. So nicely done, mate. Thank you very much. What I will say is stick around and check that out, folks, because that sounds really cool and sounds like a lot of good fun. If we want to keep in touch with Stone Cold Racing, how do we do it?
Yep, we've got the Facebook page, which lives in the Facebook world. It's attached to the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. All my pop-ups and races are for members only because it promotes the club, which has been fantastic. I've made some great friends, and there's been, once all this COVID shit's over, I'm sure we'll all travel around. I think one of the guys owns a pub. A few others are in all different states. I think this has been something really special. And the Stone Cold Racing Facebook page is there. You can like it and jump on. All our announcements are there, but I also post them all through the Gentleman Sim Racing Club.
I was going to say, I was a little bit worried when you started talking COVID, but I looked at the clock. It's after 8 o'clock in the West. We're good, weekly. Good on you, WA. Good on you. Thank you to Joe Baldwin. Actually, he's jumped out. A few others have already jumped out as well. So a huge thanks to Kim and Brenton for sticking around here. Kim, thank you for stopping by to have a chat to us. We'll keep abreast of all the Stone Cold Racing information and, of course, hopefully trigger some more interest in what's going to be very compelling viewing on a Monday night, I have to say.
Yes, thanks, Zach. I'm sure if we can actually get at least one of them broadcast around at some stage, that will be one of those little bit less serious, more entertaining, but still the right philosophy type races. And some really excellent feedback on yourself, mate. A lot of people have really enjoyed your commentary. So just a bit of kudos from us to you for the excellent job you're doing, mate. Excellent. Keep it up.
I was a little bit worried there halfway through the stock car race. I was starting to hit the wall, and poor old Brenton Hobson and Carl Watmore brought it alive for us, which was really, really good. Brenton's actually left on that note, so it's just Kim and me left. So that's probably a good cue in which to wrap it up before I bring myself undone. Well done to everyone for their involvement with not only Stone Cold Racing, but also the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It's a pleasure to be involved and cover these races, and we're looking forward to more of the same. And, mate, wherever there's IndyCar involved, I'm in. That's my favourite.
Well, Monday night's test is IndyCar, just so you know. Monday night's trial is IndyCar next Monday night.
I can watch IndyCar because it's a little bit more entertaining than Formula One at the moment, if I have to say.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not the wash, rinse, repeat that we're used to seeing with Lewis Hamilton just carving up. So it's really good, and obviously all eyes there with McLaughlin next year as well. So let's quickly wrap this up. We're out of time. We're out of people to have a chat to and everything else as well. It's been a lot of fun. We hope you've enjoyed it wherever you've been tuning in. That was a magnificent triple treat, the triple header for your Friday night motorsport entertainment on a night where we were very grateful to have SimWorld broadcasting capabilities and live content, because obviously with the NRL and the AFL season now over, we didn't have any live sport to bring you from anywhere else in the world. So all eyes on here, which is really good stuff. Brenton Hobson, the triple treat. I don't have the results from the races on me, but Brenton Hobson winning the production cars, Brenton Hobson winning the stock cars from Carl Watmore, Brenton Hobson winning the supercars from Dennis Gadderick, and of course Jeff Connell winning the broadcast development split of the supercars as well for Stone Cold Racing. So a big thanks to them. Thanks to JP and the SimShed Broadcasting team for their brilliant work behind the scenes here. What you see on screen is testament to what they do behind the scenes. And thanks to you at home for your company as per usual. We are going to get out of here about 40 minutes earlier than usual, which is good for us, and I'm sure it's good for you as well. Have a great weekend, folks, but then come back and join us on Monday night. That's when we reconvene. First Monday of November, the first Monday of the final month of the Sim broadcasting year for us, and we are really excited about what's about to unfold here. It starts with the Intro to Wings and also the GT3 Series Round 7, Monza, Italy. Monday, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Check your guides wherever you're tuning in. Wednesday night, 7:25 Eastern Daylight Time, Hump Day Pilot Series into the Porsche Elite split of the GT3 Cup. Just a reminder too, GT3s on Monday night. It's the Pro-Am split, not the Pro split. The Pro-Am split on Monday night for the GT3s. Wednesday night, Hump Day Pilot Series into Porsche GT3 for Racecraft. That's coming up from 7:25. That's at Imola. So we stay in Italy Monday, Wednesday, the Italian double, the Italian job for you right here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club broadcast page on Facebook. And of course, Friday night, back to the United States, another doubleheader. It was a North American double tonight. We had the United States and Canada represented. We've done our last Canadian trip of the year. We now turn our attention to what should be an awesome race for the production cars and also the supercars at the Barber Motorsports Park Complex in Birmingham, Alabama. And, of course, the stock cars from the West Coast from Sonoma, California. So looking forward to that immensely, especially after what we saw tonight from Brenton Hobson. For the first time this season, Brenton Hobson got the triple. He clean swept the Friday night. No one's done that yet this season until now, and he's the only man that's ever looked likely of being able to pull it off. So we've finally seen someone crack the triple and celebrate accordingly. We hope you've enjoyed it. For all of the great people that support the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, for Flash Graphics, for Oculair, for Simple Sim Computers, for Stone Cold Racing, for our great friends at LJ Hooker Gaindar and Central Coast Subaru, and also Racecraft and SimShed Broadcasting. That's it. Have a great weekend. If you're in Queensland, you've got the chance tomorrow. Go out, flush this mob. You've got the chance, right? It's voting day. Your democracy sausage or whatever the hell you want to crap on about tomorrow. Just make sure that when you go and vote, you pick up some Drano on your way home, ready to flush the mob when they actually get flushed tomorrow night. They will clog your pipes on the way down. And for everyone else, I hope you've enjoyed it. Look forward to your company Monday night when we reconvene. October is done. The racing's been sensational. Let's hope the last 4 weeks of the season deliver just as much entertainment as the first 6 or 7 months have done. And on behalf of Nico Pop and the entire suite of commentators, guests and otherwise that we had here tonight, Dennis Gadderick, Dylan Gray was in here, Paul Nichols, Trent Lavis, Kester Ward, Adam Lavis as well, and all the drivers that have stopped in for post-race chats. Joe Baldwin included, of course. He was an in-race reporter for us during the supercars. We hope you've enjoyed it. We look forward to doing it all again when we reconvene Monday night, 7:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. But for now, on behalf of the entire Gentleman Sim Racing Club team, I'm Zach Caden, and from all of us here, we wish you a very good night.